Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to KUMB TV's Eyes Up, Mother Brown. We are back for another instalment of West Ham United in the Premier League. This time we go to Crystal Palace.
They want to win for.
But back on my question, my friend. Roy Hodgson.
Yeah.
Will the club say, you know what, you've done a pretty good
It's an
job.
interesting one.
You carry on.
Everyone's talking over the top of me. I've got to figure out where that's coming from now.
I wouldn't be in a rush
Let's have a
to
look.
change, Rob. I'd be looking around, and if the right guy's available, and I can bring him in.
Rio and I will be with you very soon. I can tell you that. When we figure out where this. Okay, I think we've got it now. Yes, as I was saying, welcome. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to KUMB TV's Eyes Up, Mother Brown. Now, we do have a bit of news for you. Kickoff has been delayed until 12:45. I can tell you that because I've just seen the message flash up on my screen. Something to do, according to Steve Palmer, it's something to do with the season ticket readers not working at Sellers Park. There we go. There I am. We'll get Rio in very, very shortly. Hang on just a second. Fortunately, there's no rush now because we've got this delay up and coming. Predictions. Get your predictions in, people, please, if you haven't done so already. I can see some of you have. We'll be going through those in just a minute. Once I've got my erstwhile partner up on the screen. There he is. Rio, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you.
Hello, mate. Not too bad, thank you. Just what? Sorry, mate. Very early in the morning for me. I'm just watching the absolute chaos at Sellers Park.
Yeah.
The stands are virtually empty. The roads outside are jam-packed. Now, I would be really surprised if this gets underway in the 15-minute delay that they're on about. It's just absolute chaos there.
Yeah, I mean, we're just seeing pictures now, aren't we, on the TV screens? As you can see, there's, well, I mean, it's not even a third full, is it, on the in the stadium? It's yeah, very empty. And then you've got the and now we've got little Joe Cole and Big Peter Crouch on the telly talking to each other. But anyway, mate, how have you been? How's your week been?
It's been okay. The best news of my week so far is that I finally got a week off now. I've been working non-stop since Christmas.
Yeah.
So, yeah, my first week off impending. So I am absolutely delighted. Less said about Wednesday night, the better. But yeah. Swings and roundabouts.
Yeah, I suppose so. Well, what did you? Well, I mean, you know, the less said about it, the better. But I'm going to ask you anyway. You were there. What did you make of the game? What did you make of the referee's performance and one or two other decisions that didn't go our way?
Well, the referee's performance, you know, it's been well discussed. We did get away with one in the Chelsea game earlier in the season. Yep. Very similar circumstances. When the boot's on the other foot, though, it bloody hurt, doesn't it? As for the performance itself, it was just West Ham being West Ham, incredibly frustrating. More permanently, it was David Moyes being David Moyes and being incredibly frustrating because the same old issues which have kind of occurred all season have reared up their ugly head again. And every kind of substitution is never proactive, it's reactive. When we do make changes, they're not in an order to kind of alter the shape, make the opposition think, change the dynamic of our side to try and alter the style of play. It's very much a like for like in terms of system, but the pieces don't fit. So the progress we made over that 7 or 8 day spell all come crashing back down to earth. That's not to say we performed poorly on a Wednesday night. I thought at times we played absolutely excellently, particularly in the early stages. Obviously, Lucas Paqueta goal was an absolute kind of masterpiece. But it's just frustrating that now we've kind of got players back fit and they've made a difference. The tactical side kind of rears up again, and it is just frustrating. And it's, you know, I don't think you're going to change David Moyes' mindset. Now, I appreciate the job he's done for us so far. He's performed wonders over the last 2 years, but unless we evolve, unless we adapt tactically on the hoof during games, we're going to find ourselves falling further behind in the Premier League for my money.
Do you think Moyes has got it within him to adapt and change to these modern, these newfangled ways, as it were?
I think he's had a winning system at Everton. Obviously, things went awry after that.
Yeah.
And when he came back to us, he adopted those kind of Everton-style tactics, and it worked. It worked to a really, really high degree, and particularly over the last 2 years. But football's constantly moving, and we're severely lacking in certain areas. And he's kind of got an identity kind of profile that he wants as his target man. We've seen numerous strikers come in, not fit the brief. The man he's trying to shoehorn in now at the moment, when Mikel Antonio's unfit and not at the races, Danny Ings just doesn't fit that style. And we don't know what's going on behind the scenes. We don't know if this was a Sullivan purchase rather than the Moyes one. But he can't play a lone striker role. He never has been able to. He never will do. So trying to persevere with that kind of down that avenue isn't going to work. I don't think Moyes can fully adapt and change. I think it's probably too late in the day for him. He needs a coaching staff around him who can kind of cajole that and alter his mindset. But I just think he's very single-minded, very, very set in his ways, and I don't think he ever will progress and change.
So would it be fair to say you're still sitting on the Moyes outside of the fence as things stand?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'll reiterate, I appreciate the job he's done. I think he's done a marvellous. The last 2.5 years have been largely superb. This year, the wheels are falling off a little bit. And I think deep down, he's a very good manager, but he's a very good manager in a very focal, narrow point of view. He needs to adapt. I think we desperately need to change him in leadership, just because we need to progress and evolve the way that our style of playing, the way we operate. It's not to say he's a poor manager. I just think we need to change. We need to kind of go down a more progressive route. Even if you look back at the last 10 days, I mean, the Arsenal game, we only got that draw because Arsenal took their foot off the pedal so much. It was embarrassing for them. Against Ghent, we started. We weren't great in the first half hour, were we? No, 35 minutes.
No.
Bournemouth, different matter, but we still offered them a few more opportunities, and I would have liked to have seen. And that was a very comfortable victory in the end, but it wasn't. It wasn't without fault. And again, problems reared up on Wednesday night where we let Liverpool dictate the play, and it wasn't a particularly good Liverpool side, and they were there for the taking, and we didn't seize the opportunity, which we really should have done.
There you go. What do you think, team? Everyone joining us on the stream. Steve, Hobo, Alf, CD, Rob, and all the other regulars. Do you agree with Rio? Do you think it's time for a change at the top? Let us know in the live chat. Or do you think that Moisey has bought himself a bit more time with his record over the course of the last 2 or 3 years? Of course, if we were to finish 13th or 14th even, it would be a 3-year record only ever bettered by Harry Redknapp. Between 1997 and 99, I think Moyes' average position, were we to finish 14th, would be 8.7th, and Redknapp's, I think, was about 8.4 between that period. But of course, Harry Redknapp didn't have European semi-finals to deal with as well. But let us know what you think. Do you think it's time for a change at the head at West Ham? Interesting stuff. Always good to hear people's opinions on this one, because there's a very clear split, I think it's fair to say, Rio, between the fan base on this, and it seems to kind of, obviously results influence everything. I mean, that's the whole objective of a football match, is to win the game. But it kind of strikes me that every time we get a decent result or a bad result, that the pendulum kind of swings one way or the other, judging by the comments we receive on the KUMB forum. It's a strange one, isn't it? There seems to be. It kind of reminds me a little bit. Remember Sam Allardyce when we had a similar thing about 8 or 9 years ago? Very similar, it strikes me. The split that it's created amongst the fan base.
Yeah, with Allardyce, he came in with a reputation, and I don't think many West Ham fans really took to him, and I was never going to take to him. So I think a lot of, I wouldn't say a lot, but I'd say 30 or 40% West Ham fans were kind of almost egging him on to kind of capitulate a little bit.
Yeah.
Not because we didn't want our club to succeed,
Yeah.
but because we want to play in a certain way and see a certain kind of entertainment. And they didn't believe Sam Allardyce could produce that. And I understand that. I mean, I think it was a little bit harshly done by that time, Sam, because he did produce a team that, in parts, could play incredibly good football. And we saw that certainly in the season when we got Sacco and Valencia firing together. Now, we was a very, very good unit. And the wheels kind of come off there as well. But with David Moyes, it wasn't to that great an extent when he come in as a kind of someone who's anti-football in the way that West Ham fans saw it. It's just a little bit set in his ways and set in his mindsets. Now, what worries me more than anything at the moment is that the way that we're approaching these games is that we saw at the end of last season in the European campaign that we utilised the same set of players week in, week out, and eventually it burnt them out. And, the end of the season was pretty woeful because, everyone was absolutely shattered. And I know we made a couple of changes today, which we'll probably come on to in a moment, but, I still worry that on Wednesday night we utilised the same starting 11. There was no real kind of change of personnel and rotating the squad. And I just don't want that to happen again. I want us to go for the European competition, go out and win it, but utilise the squad and rotate and freshen up and keep players as fit and as firing as much as possible. And, we a couple of people that I meet up after the game, the Wonky Club, as we know it, because me and one of our other KUMB regulars who, we've got our own various ailments at the moment. So we met up after the game, have a little conversation. We was all in agreement that he's going to end up burning this squad out, and he's just so set in his ways in terms of utilising personnel, utilising systems. It's become a little bit stale.
Mm-hmm. All right, there you go. Thank you, Rio. I just wanted to say, actually, Elsa, you're asking about the top of Rio's head. That's just because he's sitting in reasonably close proximity to his screen. I think there's nothing we can do technically this end. It's just when Rio leans in to get the audio. We can see it fine. I can zoom you out a little bit now. Look, but no, all that was it's just when Rio's, I think, leaning towards his camera, just getting a bit close, and it just clips the top of his head, unfortunately. But anyway, minor technical issues aside, looks like there's a game of football about to start, Rio. We appear to have two sets of teams out on the pitch anyway. Not sure all the fans are inside the stadium yet at Selhurst Park. One thing I'm sure you won't be missing today, Rio, is the restricted view from the Arthur Waite stand.
No, I'd love to be there. I'd much rather hate Selhurst Park, and I think it is it's probably the worst ground in London by far, and it's definitely the most dangerous. I'd just love to be there. But Selhurst Park is my least favourite away day in the capital, and probably one of the ones in the country. Yeah. Because the Arthur Waite stand is not fit for purpose. You walk into the away part on the concourse, it is actually jam-packed with people, dangerously so. You can't manoeuvre properly. The toileting facilities are awful. Again, too narrow. You can't get people in and out at the same time. And the view just caps it off because you get more than 15, 20 rows back. You're going to get a very little kind of view of the action whatsoever. Which, I don't know, if it's Paul Paddish, you don't want to actually watch them, do you? But
every cloud and all that, I suppose.
Exactly.
It looks like we're about to kick off anyway. Quite a few. I wouldn't say all of the fans that look to be in the stadium. We just saw some lingering shots outside of supporters still trying to get through the barriers there. For those of you who didn't hear the explanation for the delay at the top of the show, it's because the season ticket readers are not working at Selhurst Park. Well, for the home fans anyway, looks like we had an away end that was pretty packed, but home fans are still coming into the stadium. We are about to kick off anyway. Craig Pawson is today's referee. We do have some predictions in already, which I'll run through very, very quickly as we're just about to kick off here. Steve Palmer, 2-1 to Palace. Oh, Steve. Alps goes for a 2. I think that's a 2-1 win to West Ham. Gore Edwards, 1-1. Oh, that's it. Only 3 predictions. Oh, no, sorry. CD, 2-1 West Ham win. Good one. Good to see. CD, bit of confidence in the boys. Rio, how are you seeing this one going as we've just kicked off now?
I'm going to actually go for a West Ham victory. I think
Whee!
we made a couple of little changes. I hate Palace. I hate the whole club, and it's from a person who's an ornithophobic, which if those of you who might not know is a fear of birds. They make that eagle fly from one end to the other. It terrifies me. So, yeah, just to stuff it up the eagle, we're going to win 3-0 today.
Was that ornithophic?
Ornithophic, yeah.
Orno,
yeah.
AORNO, as in ornithology, I guess. It's a new one on me anyway. But there you go. The eagle has landed. The game has kicked off. We can tell that. Rio, should we have a time check? I'm on 51 seconds on my.
I am about 25 seconds behind you, unfortunately.
Okay, all right. Well, we're that's closer than normal, I suppose. It's a bit better than the 60 seconds or so we're normally apart. So there you go. We'll be keeping an eye on everything for you. Let you know how it's going on. Nice to see Emerson back, says Steve Palmer. Yes, back in the side today in place of Aaron Cresswell. Now, there were rumours, Rio, on Wednesday, Thursday, around that time of the week that Aaron Cresswell was about to be offered a 1-year contract extension. Any thoughts or opinion on that particular snippet of news?
Again, I think it's a David Moyes thing, isn't it? That he loves his tried and trusted players. Mm-hmm. And to be honest, Aaron Cresswell's come in the last few games and done incredibly well. And he doesn't offer the dynamism anymore of what Emerson does, but his delivery and his usefulness from set pieces has really come to the fore.
Yeah.
So I think it's one of Moyes is like, we're going to stick by one of my lieutenants and carry on with him, which I'm not completely against. But again, you want to progress the squad. You want someone a bit more younger, a bit more dynamic to be pushing Emerson rather than a 34-year-old whose best days are clearly behind him.
Emerson, good enough to replace Cresswell, or should we be looking elsewhere in the summer?
I think he's probably been one of our most Paqueta apart. He's probably been one of our most promising signings from this season. He took our time to settle down, but his performances over the last few months have been absolutely kind of impeccable.
Yeah,
and it's been really harsh dropping him, but I think it is the Moyes thing that the reason he keeps Souček in the side is because when he isn't playing well, he still holds that eye and that kind of that grit in the middle. Otherwise, we'd be a very small side. And with Cresswell, he offers that kind of set piece threat. So it's Moyes' ball, isn't it? So yeah, I can understand why he's been utilised. But I think Emerson's a very good player, and he's probably surpassed expectations because he come in with, despite his reputation, playing for Roma, playing for Chelsea. A lot of people were very, very sceptical of him, but I think he's proved a lot of people wrong.
Yeah, he's beginning to settle into the squad, isn't he? Like one or two others. I guess most notably Lucas Paquetá. We've seen the best of him in the last 2 or 3 weeks. Anyway, 3.5 minutes gone at Selhurst Park. Crystal Palace 0, West Ham United 0. Palace on the front foot so far. They're the only team trying to make something happen as it stands. But Gord's a long way to go. On Cresswell, Steve Palmer says he's okay, only not spectacular, but we should be aiming for better. And Alf asks, is he blocking the youth coming through as well? I think that's probably one thing that Moyes has been pretty good at, isn't it, Rio, in terms of introducing the youth players? I mean, obviously the Conference League competition and the Europa League last year helped us somewhat. But what are your thoughts on that in terms of Moyes' implementation of the academy players?
I think this season especially, it's very difficult to introduce youngsters on a regular basis because of the nature of our season. We've been struggling in the league, and whether we like it or not, the league is the bread and butter for West Ham United, and not only in terms of status, but financially as well. So introducing youngsters into that kind of And it's not been a particularly pleasant atmosphere off the pitch at times. So, no, it's a bit of a maelstrom for young kids to come into and thrive.
Yeah.
But when he has given them opportunities in the Cup and Europe, he's done okay. And we've seen the likes of Scholes, Mabama get a couple of run-outs. You'd like to see it happen a bit more often. And there are times when you think, well, maybe you could have utilised him. But I think he's done a pretty decent enough job with that. And that's one of the things that he has been successful with, giving people a chance, more or less.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I think we've seen a lot of players. Mabama, of course, as you said, Ollie Scholes has come in. Maybe nice to see one or two more. George Earthy, perhaps, and even Callum Marshall maybe get a sniff. Two players doing very, very well for the 80s. We'll come back to that in a little while, actually, because, of course, we a momentous occasion in midweek with regards to the under-18s, which I want to talk about. But back to the game quickly. Just over 5 minutes gone. It's still 0-0. Palace 80% of possession so far. Some indication of how little of the ball West Ham have seen so far. And they're breaking down the right, trying to get a crossover. But it's well defended by Emerson. I think he's going to get a goal kick for that. No, a corner's been given. He blocked the cross coming in. It looked like it came back off the Palace forward. But let's have another look at this. Gets around the back. I'm not so sure, actually. Difficult to see from there. But anyway, we'll stick with this for a second. It is a Palace corner from West Ham's left. Palace's right-hand side. Palace attacking from right to left on our screens as you watch, if you are indeed watching the stream, of course, or you might just be listening to us. Waiting for the corner to come over. So here it comes. Played short and knocked back. Delivered into the pass. It's a really good delivery, but well done by Naifa Gerd, who manages to keep it clear. Back on the edge of the box with Palace, looking to get it back in. Mickey Antonio doing some work there on the edge of the box to close down, and West Ham defending really well and managing to get that out. Now Mickey Antonio is looking to counter. He's got Pablo Fornals bursting forward with him, but Antonio pulled to the ground. And what's going to happen here? Now, is there going to be a card? Paulson having a word with Wilfried Zaha. Let's have a look again. Now, Zaha tug. There's nothing in that. So I think it looks to me, I don't know what you think about that, Rio, but it looks to me like Antonio's just thrown himself to the ground. Didn't look like there's a slight pull on the arm from Zaha, but Antonio's legs seemed to go first, which was kind of indicative of there being no foul there. But anyway, it's been given and it's come to nothing. Paqueta's unhappy now. He wanted to throw him, but it's not been given. So West Ham finally managed to get into the Palace half. What did you make of that incident involving Antonio Rio? Was it a foul for you?
I couldn't see much in it at all. I just think he kind of stumbled and made the most of it. But very strange, that one.
Yes, very odd indeed. But anyway, West Ham got the free kick, came to nothing. And West Ham have the ball again now on the halfway line. 7.5 minutes gone. Palace 0, West Ham United 0. There's a lingering shot of Roy Hodgson on the sidelines. What do you think about this? I think, actually, Rio, have we not got the oldest two managers in the Premier League on the sideline, I think, today? Because I think before Hodgson come back, Moyes was the oldest, wasn't he? So, yeah, that would be one or two. Oh, hang on. He's bowing into the box, pulls it across. Cross is blocked and it's out for a West Ham corner. While we're waiting for that to happen, Rio, Roy Hodgson, surprised to see him come back. 75, he's no spring chicken, is he? Fair to say.
Very surprised indeed, because I know a lot of Palace fans were delighted with the way that Patrick Vieira kind of changed the style of play to a more entertaining, kind of manner. And also for Roy Hodgson at that age to actually want to come back into the whole Premier League kind of circus.
Yeah,
a little bit strange. I understand Steve Parrish just said he wanted a safe pair of hands to kind of steer away from the relegation drop. But I can understand that. But I just found it very, very strange, kind of strange couple of weeks at Palace when they decided to do that. And obviously Roy Hodgson comes along and he starts getting wins and goals galore, which he never did in his previous 3 or 4 seasons when he was still there. So very, very strange indeed.
Oh, West Ham have scored. Brilliant timing. Tommy Souček, 1-0 West Ham. We had a corner that we spoke about. Bowen took the first corner, came to nothing, put back out for a corner. The second one's come across, and Tommy Souček has slammed it home from about 8 yards to give West Ham an early advantage. Now, about 2 weeks ago, West Ham hadn't scored a single goal in the opening 15 minutes of a Premier League match, or any match, I think, this season. I think that's 3 now in the last week. Rio, Jarrod Bowen again providing Tommy Souček with the finish.
Yes, absolutely delighted to see that, particularly for Souček, who's like coming in for a lot of criticism over his course this season. But yeah, a good delivery. I just thought he was going to end up going to nothing, but he could have bounced around, and very much like Declan Rice on Sunday. The ball just fell to him in the right place, and he just hit it really well. So yeah, 1-0. Absolutely delighted so far.
It was a terrible clearance actually by the Palace player. I mean, for those who haven't seen it, the corner was delivered to the far post, and it was nodded from there by I think it was Eze, possibly. I confirm that, but it's headed straight into the path of Souček, who was 8 yards from goal, and simply slammed it into the back of the net. Terrible goal to give away defensively from Palace's perspective. But the Hammers ahead again, Rio, and looking good. I mean, our first attack of the game, right? We'd barely been in their half until that point.
Yeah, we only kind of ventured forward, but beyond the halfway line, and yeah, I want to just reiterate that again. I'm just delighted for Thomas Souček, who's in front of goal. He's not been particularly sharp when the opportunities have arisen, which haven't been that great. And he's come in for so much stick. That must be an absolute weight off his shoulders. So hopefully we can see him play with a little bit more freedom, a little bit more kind of relaxation. Yeah, great start. You can't ask for nothing else.
No, totally agree. Love to. I'm really pleased to see Tommy on the score sheet. He's been working hard without with little reward in the last few games. Obviously, a lot of people questioning his inclusion in the starting 11 for I was going to say weeks, but it's been more like months. But anyway, his Palace on the attack, played into the box, but it's going to come to no one, and that's going to be cleared out by Vladimir Coufal. Palace still with the ball. Yeah, lovely to see Tommy back on the score sheet. Matty Lawless on Twitter saying that Big Tom definitely back on the potato salad. Cracking finish, come on you Irons. We seem to be rather adept at set pieces again all of a sudden, Rio. What's happened? We've gone from scoring none in about 6 months to, what is it, 3 or 4 or 5 in the last couple of weeks? Unbelievable.
Yeah, we're getting to that stage again. We actually look like confident that when we get a call, something might actually happen. It's weird, isn't it? We went for years and years without being particularly adept at set pieces. Yeah. Then under Moyes, we've become so clinical from them. It was unnatural. Then we dropped off back to usual, and we're back again. It's an actual roller coaster ride of free kicks and corners, isn't it, at West Ham? Yeah,
it certainly is. And of course, this is, as we know, this is where Big Tommy Souček is at his most prolific from set pieces. Palace have one of their own now. It's from the right hand side, about 30 yards out. It's delivered into the box, headed up in the air by Paquetá, only as far as Will Zaha, just outside the box. Palace trying to find an opening here. I'm having quite a lot of trouble seeing these numbers on these shirts because the shadows are so low. Being a 12:30 game, it's difficult to make some of the players out. Need a good contrast control on my telly. Remember those? You could just go up the brightness contrast. You was away. You can't do it these days, of course, without fiddling about with all sorts of buttons. But anyway, it's come to nothing. And West Ham have a free kick down by our left-hand corner flag because of the foul committed by one of the Palace players. We didn't even go through the team, Rio, did we, at the top of the show? I'm not doing this properly today, but 1 or 2 changes in the side. Emerson back in the team, I think. Fornals back in. Is there any more changes from Wednesday? I'm not sure there is. I think that's about it.
No, just for us, there was just the 2. Palace have made 4 changes today. Zaha coming back is probably the biggest one.
Yeah.
But yeah, they made Ward, Schlupp, De Keur coming in with the other 3 changes for Palace. There is also a little bit of a noticeable landmark today for West Ham.
Okay.
Declan Rice makes his 200th Premier League appearance. Now, as we know, football didn't exist before the Premier League. If you believe the likes of Sky. So he becomes only the 6th West Ham player to make 200 Premier League appearances. And, 3 of those players are still playing today.
Yeah, it says a lot, that, doesn't it, when you think about it? But that's a decent record for Deckers. Anyway, 200 caps, 200 appearances under his belt at the age of 23. What are we thinking about Declan for the summer? I mean, the general opinion seems to be that he's definitely leaving this summer. Do you subscribe to that, or do you think there's a possibility that we might be able to, well, we've got that 1-year contract extension availability, haven't we? Oh, Palace are level. Palace have scored. Ayew has scored. We'll come back to that in a minute. 15th minute, Jordan Ayew is levelled for Palace. It's a ball through the centre. I'm kind of a bit of an ironic laugh because I saw someone ask the question on the KUMB forum just before the game, asking how long it would be before AU scored against us today. But there's your answer: 14 minutes. Yeah, disappointing goal for West Ham to concede. Let's just wait for the replay to come in. But it is 1-1 anyway. The ball coming from the right-hand side, coming into the centre. Let's just have a look here. Yeah, play through the lines, and AU just breaks off of Kurt Zouma and manages to. It's a decent effort, but a couple of question marks from West Ham defensively. Kurt Zouma could he have got tighter to AU, a little bit slow reacting, and then Lucas Fabianski, Rio, beating at his near post. You don't see that often.
You've seen it a few times this season. He's creeping in. It's one of these little errors that Lucas has got in him at the moment, and it's again, it's an age thing. I think. I just think, you know, experience should ensure that you don't make these errors, but they are creeping in. But yeah, you can completely right. Zouma should have been a lot tighter when that ball come in, and yeah, I was just looking at the replay. Fabianski in no way in this world should be beaten from that angle.
No, not really.
That is awful keeping, awful positioning.
Yeah, not great. Now, Craig Paulson is interfering. I'm not quite sure what's going on. I think he's just going to check on Mickey Antonio. There's a bit of a chance for West Ham there while Rio and I were talking. Ball broke down the right-hand side, delivered into the box, and Antonio for a moment looked like he might get on the end of it, but he's received some kind of knock in there by the looks of things, and we're just well, actually, what is going on here? Jordan Ayew and Naif Agurd are looking at. It looks like they're looking for something on the ground, either that or they're looking at someone's boot. I'm not quite sure what's going on here. Terrible comms, I'm afraid, but I've got absolutely no idea. In true Chris Kamara style, what exactly is going on here? Why there's a stop? I thought it was for Mickey Antonio. Rio, can you shed any light on this? What this breaking?
No, I mean I'm just looking at the hunt for something that's on the whatever's on the deck. This is weird. This is very strange.
We've just the TV cameras have just filtered across to Kurt Zouma. We're just seeing that chance again. Was it an elbow? I think it might have been a stray elbow that caught Mickey Antonio in the face. It's a painful one. Let's have another look. No, it's a knee actually. Oh, that is painful. It was a knee to the face. Mickey Antonio took, but anyway, Kurt Zouma is down and receiving treatment. This isn't actually looking good. Naif Agurd is chatting to his defensive partner and asking if he's okay. I'm not sure he's going to be able to continue. Let's have a little look. I don't know if this was as a result of the goal or something that happened shortly before. I mean, of course, we saw Zouma was a bit slow on the uptake when Ayew burst through. So let's have a look. Alf's saying that Ayew raked his ankle, which must have been in maybe slightly after. I didn't see it anyway. Apologies for the terrible comms today, people.
Exactly how.
Just seen a replay of that goal, and yeah, I'm with you, Rio, on that. I think Fabianski shouldn't be. It's not exactly an acute angle, is it? It's it's not one of those, but it's still Angelo Bonnery's coming on, so Kurt Zouma is off. Not quite sure what the problem is. Al's suggesting that Ayew raked his ankle, perhaps, but he looks in some distress, and once again, Kurt Zouma, Rio, is not going to last 90 minutes.
No. I noticed again on Wednesday night, there was a couple of times, particularly towards the end of the game, when he was kind of walking rather gingerly, feeling muscles. And with Kurt Zouma, I just don't know whether it is fitness sometimes or whether he just got the ump and doesn't fancy it at times, because that is that kind of element that's been creeping in with him.
Yeah.
It's a very strange bit of body language from him at times, because when he has done that kind of thing on the pitch before, he's carried on. Obviously today it is looking kind of very worrying. I've just seen, obviously I'm about 30 seconds behind it, he's just been helped off by two of the medical team, and I think gingerly is the word here.
Indeed it is. He's still receiving treatment, and he's already off the pitch. They're still trying to carry him to a sitting position. So obviously some concern, maybe an Achilles. The suggestion by Alf's and also Dan B and Hobo that he got caught on the ankle by Ayew just before the goal was scored. But anyway, it is 1-1. West Ham have made an enforced change already. Angelo Ogbonna is on the pitch in place of Kurt Zuma. So all to play for once again. West Ham taking the lead after just 9 minutes from Tommy Souček's post-range finish before Andre Ayew equalised 6 minutes later for the home team. Palace attacking down the right-hand side now. This looks dangerous. Into the box. Plays near, goes. It's across the ball. Oh, it's 2-1 and they've scored. They scored again. Palace are ahead. Unbelievable scenes at Selhurst Park. Yeah, West Ham falling apart, Rio. Ball played coming down the right-hand side, played across the area. Looked like West Ham might get lucky until Wilfried Zaha, who's just returned from 4-match spell on the bench, popped up at the far post on the left-hand side to put the ball back across the goal into the top right-hand corner from about 3 yards out. And let's have a little look at this. It's a straightforward Palace move. Goal kick to the right-back, played down the line. Emerson doesn't manage to clear his lines, and then this is when West Ham gets caught out. The ball in the right side of the box, played across the area. Ayew completely misses it, which I think throws everyone, and it falls to Zaha at the far post, who manages to get ahead of a kind of slightly perplexed and stationary Vladimir Coufal to make it 2-1 to Palace, Rio. What's going on?
Shocking defending again, isn't it? Like I say, Emerson stepped up, missed the ball. He left acres of space behind him. Just trying to see the replay now. But at the back post, yeah, I think Ayew missing it, like you said, has thrown people. But Vladimir Coufal has been in excellent form since his return, and probably one of our standout players. Has left Zaha with. He's been left alone, obviously, but Zaha's got too much space there, too much time, too much space. Easy finish for him then. Again, very poor defence from West Ham all round. And the two players that I would have high hopes for before the game, in Emerson and Coufal, have combined there to make an absolute shower of poo about that one.
Well, about 5 minutes. Well, we've just seen Emerson limp now. He's taken a bit of a knock. Yeah, that's a naughty one, actually. I'm surprised that hasn't resulted in a yellow card. But anyway, Emerson's back on his feet. West Ham with the throw into the left of Palace's penalty box, hurled into the box. 3 Palace players go up above Mickey Antonio to win the ball, and then it's hoofed clear all the way to the halfway line where Knife is waiting to pick it up. About 5 minutes ago, I was looking at the live Premier League table, and West Ham were in 12th position above Palace. Not the case now. Palace back up above West Ham. Tommy Souček's just tried his luck from about 20 yards. It's a poor effort, really, just dribbles through to the goalkeeper. No, didn't really get anything on it, and easy for the keeper Johnson to pick up. So it stays 2-1. We're pretty much coming to the halfway point in the first half now. Another long ball over the top from Palace. Seems to be a theme here, Rio. Lots of Palace playing lots of long balls into the channels over the top, looking to catch West Ham out defensively. Perhaps drawn from the fact that Zuma's gone off maybe as well, making this a little bit weaker there.
Yeah, I think so. I think they're trying to exploit that a little bit more. Now Angelo Bonner's on the pitch because now he's, again, another one of our aging kind of defensive cohort who is susceptible to a ball in behind. Obviously, with Zaha and Ayew up front, they've got the pace to utilise and the pace to kind of hurt us. And the balls in behind the fullbacks and in behind Bonner is, it's a typical Roy Hodgson tactic, and they're gonna just go at that all day. Sadly, it looks like we're susceptible to it.
Well, I mean, we're showing our defensive frailty once again there. Tommy Souček has just taken the first yellow card of the game for bringing down Eze as he was surging towards the box. A definite case of Souček taking one for the team there, I think, Rio. But let's just wait and see what comes from this resulting free kick.
Up the road in London for Tooting and Mitcham, and
third booking of the season for Tommy Souček. It's actually that's an incredibly low number, I would imagine, for a central midfielder. I wouldn't imagine there's too many with that lower number. But anyway, just waiting for Palace to take this free kick. It's about, let's have a look. What are we? 20? Well, Palace. The lines go the other way. Oh no, they're kind of, the lines are going both ways, so we can kind of work that out. So it's about 28 yards. Looks like we're going to get a shot come in. Indeed, it is. It's deflected off a West Ham head and behind for a Palace corner. Yeah, only 3 bookings for Souček. Does that seem low to you, Rio, or is that about right?
The cynic in me would say, because he's been so off form and so tired all season, he's barely been near him to make the fouls.
This is
But
true.
yeah, it is a low number for that kind of position, isn't it?
It strikes me as low, yeah. Palace corner, short one again from the right-hand side. Zaha with it on the edge of the box, still on the right-hand side. The cross hasn't been delivered yet. Back to Zaha, he's going to try his luck. Comes off Paquetá, and West Ham managed to get it clear. Mickey Antonio now doing the donkey work, chasing a lost cause, basically, and yeah, Palace retained possession. The Hammers 2-1 behind, were ahead, conceded 2 goals in the space of just 5 minutes, and it's all sort of gone wrong for West Ham momentarily here, but plenty of time left to go for the Hammers to find their mojo once again and get back into this game. But it's definitely Palace on the front foot at the moment, as Lucas Fabianski comes out to collect a loose ball and look to start West Ham off again. Are you, Dan, saying was booked for taking his shirt off? Presumably that was as a result of a goal celebration rather than just randomly decided to smash everyone at some point during the game. But 2 bookings anyway, so that's 1 for each team so far. Are we doing anything fundamentally wrong here, Rio, at the moment, or is it just we've just got caught out by 2 decent Palace attacks?
No, I just think it's incredibly sloppy defending. We've stepped up without conviction. We've allowed too many passes in behind our back line. And yeah, it's just poor defending and poor execution. Everything we normally have been doing right, because even when we have been on the bar in Brighton, even we have lost a few games, we have tried to keep our shape and kind of not conceded too many. But the goals we do concede are often awful, and it's individual errors rather than well-worked and well-created goals by the opposition.
For sure. Match stats, quick update on match stats for you. Possession 66-34 in Palace's favour so far. Both sides having enjoyed 4 shots on goal and 2 shots on target, 2 corners each as well. So very, very even at the moment. Palace, of course, have the slight advantage because they've scored twice and they're looking for a third here because Zaha's breaking into the box on the left-hand side. Plays it short, but West Ham, I think Tommy Souček's going to put it out for a corner. No, it's just stayed in, I think, and that's going to be a throw-in instead. No corner's been given. I'm fairly certain the ball didn't go out there, but Craig Paulson has decided in his infinite wisdom that it did cross the line. Probably spurred on by the Palace fans behind that goal, I'd imagine, and Palace have been given a corner. Linesman making, I'm not sure what he's doing there, but anyway, yeah, another chance for Palace, Rio, to extend the lead.
Yeah, it's a big worry because I think it's about the 5th or 6th corner they've forced. We haven't exactly kind of defended well from them so far. Yeah, it's just worrying because we're showing nothing really going forwards. A couple of little changes we have made today in the left-hand side has seemed to kind of really disrupted our the way we operate and way we kind of operate down the left flank. I, for one, have been one of the people crying out for Pablo Fornals to get more game time. But he's really not been afforded any opportunity to get on the ball and showing any kind of class here. It's always been Palace on the attack. Ayew's causing problems, one flank, Zaha the other. And we're around Eze a little bit too much time and space in the middle to kind of pull the strings a little.
Yeah, we just saw that corner result in a header from Gay. Is it Gay? I can't never figure out how to pronounce his name. But anyway, it's a header just over the bar for Palace, narrowly. Only narrowly over the bar. But one thing I have noticed, Rio, is that every single corner that Palace have taken so far has been short. Don't think we've seen one hurled into the box. So obviously aware of West Ham's defensive prowess, you would suggest, and Hodgson has decided to mix it up a little bit and look for a shorter option.
Yeah, I think they just kind of drag our players out a little bit to create that little bit of extra space in the box when by playing it short. And obviously it's worked to some effect so far. But yeah, it's worrying because we've had our back line disrupted a little bit as well. Now, no one seems to know exactly what they're doing and how to kind of put their foot on the ball and get out of this kind of out of the trouble that we've created. Paquetá's been a bit anonymous today so far. We've offered nothing going forward in terms of anything but set pieces. So we're just not stringing 3 or 4 passes together at the moment.
And it's getting even worse because Schlupp has just made it 3-1 to Palace. Thomas Souček caught in possession 25 yards from goal. Ball played to him for Nyford, short pass. Souček dispossessed by Schlupp, who just walks through and slips it underneath Fabianski to make it 3-1 to the home side. Rio, we're falling to pieces.
Yeah, and in pretty, dare I say it, Newcastle-esque style, because that was just abysmal. The kind of errors that we saw creep in against Newcastle, which you would have thought had been worked on in the training ground and completely eradicated, have come to the fore. And we're losing 3-1 to a pretty poor Palace side, and we're making it look easy for them. And to be honest, I really can't see any way back from this.
No, it's not looking good, is it? West Ham conceded 3 goals now in the space of just 15 minutes. It's pretty desperate. And I think you make a really good point. I was going to say, it seems like we're back to that Newcastle game with the unenforced individual errors are coming in. Tommy Souček's going to get a lot of stick for that, Rio, but quite frankly, by the time he received that pass from Aguerd, I don't think there's anything he could do. Schlupp was right up his backside, nipped the ball off him. And I'm pretty certain Tommy's going to get the criticism for that, but I think that's Aguerd's fault. Personally.
Yeah, there's 3 players culpable for that. I mean, it's a shocking ball from Aguerd, putting his own player under extreme pressure. As you said, Souček is he's in a no-win situation. If he'd have booted the ball for a bit, people would have said, "Oh, what you're doing?" He got caught out, and I don't think Fabianski covered himself in glory with that. The way he tried to save the ball, he just went down on one knee and let the ball go through him.
Always tough as a goalie to see the ball go between your legs. He's not had a good start, Fabianski, so far. But West Ham, I mean, plenty of time to go. It's going to, just over the half-hour mark now. The Hammers plenty of work to do now. Took the lead just 20 minutes ago. We were in a positive mood, all buzzing because Tommy Souček had put us ahead. But desperate 15 minutes for West Ham. Very Newcastle-esque, as Rio rightly said. Individual errors creeping back into the players once again, and it's cost us big so far. But the only positive, if you can call it that, is that we've got an hour to go to grab these couple of goals and get back into the game. But of course, it's a game, Rio. We were really hoping to win, wasn't it? This one, not just sort of draw, but I guess that's what we're hoping.
From a selfish point of view, the reason I really want to win this is also to put pressure on Chelsea, because Chelsea are floundering in front of us, and I really want to finish above them. We need. I've said all season, I don't think we actually need to win another league game. We could get away with a couple of draws and we'll be safe, because teams around us are dropping points. No one wants to cement a proper run at staying up. But we're making it so hard for ourselves, aren't we? A win today would have really almost guaranteed our survival. Not mathematically, but just look at the running the other teams have got. It would have been virtually safety guaranteed. It also sends out the wrong message to the players. I mean, we've got Paquetá in excellent form. You want him to stay next season. You don't want him to think, what the hell have I joined? Which at the moment, he's probably thinking that. The likes of Aguerd, who, we had really high hopes for, and at times he's got flashes of genius. He's turned to Paul Hilton over the last 6 or 7 weeks. Some of the mistakes he's made has been absolutely unforgivable.
Yeah.
It just sends out the wrong message to the wrong people at the wrong time, and it's not filling anyone with confidence, particularly when you think on Wednesday night we've got to play Manchester City. Next weekend we've got to play Manchester United, and then we've got the European campaign resurrected. I'm not full of joy at the moment.
Oh, happy days. Things can only get better from this position. 33 minutes gone. Crystal Palace 3. West Ham United 1. What a terrible start for the Hammers. Terrible first. Well, I mean, it wasn't a terrible start. It was a pretty decent start. We were ahead after 9 minutes, but just had that appalling 15 minutes where Ayew, Zaha and Schlupp all managed to find the back of the net. West Ham have not really suggested they've got an awful lot going forward so far. So some big changes, I think, are going to be needed by Mr. Moyes at the break and his team. I don't quite know he's going to engineer a change in fortunes, but something has to be done. And as Rio says, we've got those 2 very tough league games against the Manchester clubs to come, and before we go and face Alkmaar in the first leg of the Conference League semi-final on the 11th of May. So yes, we need to get our fingers out, as it were, and try and get back into this game. West Ham trying to do something. Declan Rice, first time I've actually seen him on the ball in this game. Finds Mickey Antonio on the left. Antonio attacking the penalty box. Looks up, he's going to deliver it, is he? Yes, he is, into the box, but it's deflected. And West Ham have a corner. Something to cheer at last, Rio, anyway. Corner for West Ham.
Yeah, well, two things to cheer, because Declan Rice, like you say, has actually touched the ball for the first time in 34 minutes. Absolutely anonymous. Our central midfield pairing have been absolutely nowhere today. Paquetá and Rice. I just can't fathom out how we've come out and set up so badly. We've not actually managed to get a foot on the ball against a very average Palace side.
Well, there's one. Mickey Antonio has scored for West Ham, and it's 3-2, and it's game on again. Can you believe it? It's another set piece. Let's have a look at this. I think it's Emerson, Souček, Antonio. Let's have another look. The ball, it's West Ham's left. The corner comes in from Tommy Souček, nods it on. Mickey Antonio, far post, completely unmarked, and he's a yard out and has got the simplest task. So it's actually not that simple because he's leaning backwards to reach the ball. But it's Tommy Souček who's atoned for his error a few moments ago by nodding the corner on to an unmarked Mickey Antonio, who makes it 3-2. Rio, it's game on again. It's all happening.
Anything could happen today. We have been absolutely awful, and we're still in this game, despite the fact we've gifted 3 goals. All we've got to do is just keep forcing set pieces, and we'll be fine. You know, build a wall at the back, get a set piece. That's all we can ever do.
West Ham are once again massive at set pieces, and Mickey Antonio has scored again. Now, there are a few people suggesting that West Ham's recent renaissance, Rio, kind of coincided with Mickey Antonio's return to form. How much are the two interlinked?
I think what it was is not just Mickey Antonio. He does play a huge role in it because, as I said at the start of the show, that the way that David Moyes plays, he relies on a big physical presence up front, and it is key to the way that we play and the way that we operate. Now, Mickey hasn't had a great season, and I think he'll be the first to admit that. He's back in form. He's showing prowess in front of goal. He's shown a little bit of determination, a little bit of muscle, which we've been sorely lacking. We've also had Vladimir Suchal come back into form. We've had Lucas Paquetá finally settled down. All those little pieces all add up. And I think it's a culmination of those 3 things that have really triggered a little bit of the revival that we've had.
Yeah.
Obviously, we need to get someone hold of the defence and just remember, like, teach them how to work as a unit and how not to concede space and time, because that's our downfall at the moment. And individual errors are just creeping in so much. We saw at Newcastle, the 2 or 3 of the goals there, easily preventable. 2 of the goals today, easily preventable. You know, I said we don't make teams earn goals. We just kind of gift them and try and force our way back in after that.
Certainly do. Now, we've just seen a decent Naif Aguerd's kind of redeemed himself slightly as well. Good ball played into the box for Jordan Ayew, but well marshalled by Naif Aguerd, who just sees the ball out of play. Tommy Souček, I mean, it's funny, isn't it? We've barely mentioned his name in the last month when he's been playing, Rio, and yet this first half has pretty much been all about Tommy Souček. I mean, scored the opening goal for West Ham on 9 minutes, conceded possession for Palace's 3rd, and then was grabbed an assist a couple of minutes later for Mickey Antonio. I mean, it's the Souček show right now.
There was a lot of people accusing him over a period after Christmas of being completely anonymous in games.
Yeah.
So he's making a statement today and getting back into the spotlight, isn't he? Goal and assist, like you say, the plus points. And we both agree. I mean, he was kind of really sold short for the goal that we conceded by Aguerd. You want to see Souček come back to his best and be that presence when we get set pieces. Be that little bit of steel and determination we saw last season from in the middle when he's playing a bit more kind of deeper. He just looks a bit lost at times, but now going forward today, he's been brilliant. Less said about the mistake, the better.
Another player who's getting plenty of enjoyment going forward is the opposition's Wilfried Zaha. We've just seen him fire a close range shot into the side netting. He's giving Vladi Suchal a real tough time out there this afternoon. Just manages to get around the outside of Suchal and the shot is in the side netting, as I say, but it's only about half a yard, probably even less than that, maybe only a couple of feet off the post. So yeah, West Ham got to be careful. Certainly don't want to concede a fourth goal, as was suggested by Craven. I think fancies us to go down 4-2 at this point, but we'll see. Long way to go yet. Yeah, it's certainly been some half. 5 goals already. We've not even played 40 minutes yet. Palace leading West Ham 3-2 at the moment. Plenty more football, and you might expect 1 or 2 more goals to come. Palace with the ball just outside West Ham's box. We're about 35 yards from goal, dead centre. Nyfagerd gets in, nips in to make a challenge and finds Mickey Antonio. Now, Antonio could be away if he can keep possession, but unfortunately he's had the ball nipped off his toe, and Palace regain possession once again. 5 minutes till half-time. Rio, what's the message from the manager? What are you saying right now? Are we looking for a third to get back, or is it just, let's just keep it tight, nothing silly, and make sure we don't go in, more than one behind at half-time?
I'm a maverick. I'd say charge, get at them. Get the third, get the fourth, get the fifth. Let's seal this before half time.
Like it. West Ham, the West Ham way, onwards and upwards. I was actually reading, well, this is dangerous, ball coming from the left-hand side, but cleared by Nyfagerd. I was reading a good piece yesterday. If you haven't read it, it's a wonderful piece on the KUMB homepage by Steve Law, Doc H. Ball, as he's perhaps better known on the forum, about the 1923 FA Cup final, which of course took place 100 years ago yesterday. Unbelievable, a whole century ago. Brilliant piece about the game there, and some comments in that about the way West Ham looked to play, which was to attack as much as possible, along with the cry of up the iron. It wasn't up the irons then, it was up the iron, from the fan base, which we understand was the cry that used to go up in the trenches, wasn't it, in the war, for the local battalions based in the East End, and that's a bit of history for you there. There you go. That's where it come from, apparently. But of course, adopted to up the irons. Scunthorpe, isn't it, Rio, who chant up the iron these days, isn't it?
Yep. Yeah.
Scunny having a terrible time. Not a million miles from where I am right now. Scunthorpe, but they're having a torrid time in the league at the moment. And, it's not good.
But never received an email for about 40 or 30 years since it was introduced.
Sorry, what was that? Say that again.
They never received one email in Scunthorpe, the particular offices and local parishes.
Yes.
Couldn't get past the old offensive word spell thing.
Is that right? Yeah, of course. It holds a special place, doesn't it, in British football for that particular reason as well. 42 minutes gone. Anyway, Crystal Palace 3, West Ham United 2. No goal mouth action right now, which is why we're talking about Scunthorpe and other things. But Mickey Antonio's got the ball for West Ham. Has it taken off of his toe again as he was looking to play Pablo Fornals, I think, and Palace are breaking again down the left-hand side. This is dangerous. Rules are hard up against Vladi Soufal again. And he's got past Soufal into the box, goes to the byline, pulls it back. This could be dangerous. Ooh, and Angelo Bonner does really well, but Soufal's got to get tighter. Getting beaten every single time at the moment by Zaha. They've had a few battles over the years, haven't they, these two, Rio? And yeah, like I say, the Palace player quite often seems to have come out on top.
Yeah, it's not a player that I particularly enjoy. He's a very talented footballer, but I just don't like his demeanour and the way that he approaches the game, and his reactions when things don't go his way towards his teammates is pretty despicable. But he always seems to have a bit of a sign over us, and yeah, that's another reason I hate him. Yeah, I'd quite carefully kick him somewhere rather hard and rather delicate.
Yeah. Oh dear, now West Ham have got done again there. Mickey Antonio's furious because he believes he should have had a throw in, and rightly so. I think that Craig Paulson's decided to give it Palace's way. We're about 35 yards from Palace's goal, and could have been interesting for West Ham had we got that throw in. Flag Sandwich says, talking history, do you know how we got our team colours from Villa? We do, Flag Sandwich, but I'm guessing you're going to give us an alternative reason. Fire away. Let us know how that happened, and we'll see if our stories match. Yeah, interesting one that. Where are we? 44 minutes gone. Palace, last minute now of final minute of normal time at the end of the first half. Can West Ham level the game before the break? Let's see what happens. Hammers 3-2 down, led of course, went 3-1 down and managed to get one back through Mickey Antonio, who himself has been reasonably prolific again of late, started finding the net, especially from set pieces. But Yeah, it's going to need to do it again in the second half. Or at least someone is, if West Ham are going to get back into this game. Nightingale concedes a free kick on the halfway line, going through the back of Jordan Ayew. Certainly makes the most of it. He's not as injured as he makes out. It was a pretty
I didn't think it was necessary to do that.
straightforward yet robust challenge, but certainly not one that deserved that kind of
But a lot to do
response.
yet.
But anyway, Palace have the free kick. Ayew, of course, on the score sheet already scored the equaliser after 15 minutes for Palace before they grabbed a couple more and West Ham in real trouble. We're just waiting to see how many minutes we've got left.
Maybe with the near
How much will be added on? We've just seen a rerun of all the Palace goals, like we need to see those. Kevin Webb has joined us on the stream. He's taken the opportunity to say, sorry, Moyles, time for you to go and get out of my club.
And off the heel of Wilfred Zaha, but it squeezes inside the post.
Right, 5 minutes. 5 minutes actually
Very
added on.
good.
5 minutes. I suppose we had the
Played
injury,
so
didn't we, for Zuma?
Yeah.
But I'm sure 5 minutes seems generous. But anyway, here we are.
very quick to intercept.
That does seem very excessive. Yeah, Zuma's down. I didn't think that was about 2 minutes. I'm trying to think of anything else. And nothing really stands to mind. Why there's that extra 2 or 3 minutes on top of the dotted time?
Yeah, seems generous. But anyway, it is what it is. It's been given, and Palace have a throw in just inside West Ham's half. Now, is that, I didn't realise, I didn't know Ray Lewington was at Palace still. I just seen him on the sidelines there. Of course, Ray Lewington, a former Knees Up Mother Brown ITK, Rio. Do you remember that story? The Ray Lewington and Sick Note story?
Yeah, that's one of the best stories ever from the website, in my opinion. I think you're probably best to tell it because I'm not the most kind of natural storyteller, but yeah, it was one of our highlights, wasn't it?
Yeah,
if you ever want a bathroom done, an inside kind of information, big transfer news coming up, make sure you do Ray Lewington's bathroom.
West Ham, now, Emerson has just been penalised. We'll come back to that in a minute. Emerson's just been penalised for winning the ball from Elise. And he's clearly won the ball first, but once again, Paulson has decreed it to be a foul. No idea whatsoever how he's seen that, because he's clearly nicked the ball first. This is the sort of thing that costs you games. We talk about offside decisions and VAR and things like that, but it's ridiculous and appalling decisions like that from Craig Paulson. It wasn't a million miles away from the ball that actually cost you dearest. Palace have a free kick. They're lining it up. They're about 30 yards from goal, just to the right-hand side of West Ham's penalty box. So it's going to be probably a left footer on this one, you would imagine, if it's going to be a shot on goal. Well, there's plenty of time for Palace to take this. We're not halfway through the 5 added on minutes at the end of the first half yet. So West Ham line up defensively alongside the 18-yard box. Ball chipped in, it's in swing, and the shot comes in. Oh, and it's blocked, and the danger's still not clear. Palace on the edge of the box trying to work it to Zaha. West Ham managed to get it clear this time. It's still not clear, and comes back to Zaha. So that's going to be Zaha playing it short into Ayew. Comes back to the winger on the left-hand side. He delivers a cross to the back post. Mickey Antonio actually gets up. And it's cleared by West Ham. Now, this could be interesting. Can Paquetá get on it? He can. Now, this is interesting. West Ham breaking quickly. 4 nails. Can he put the ball in the box? He can. Oh, it's just nicked off of Souček's foot. Oh, if the defender hadn't found that, it would have been through. But West Ham still with the ball. Declan Rice, 25 yards out. Chips it to the back post. Decent ball to 4 nails. Paquetá tries to get a shot away. 4 nails tries to get a shot in. Block coming in from every angle from Palace. But West Ham again. Paquetá swivels, shoots, and puts it about 60 yards over the bar. Danger averted for Palace, but good stuff from West Ham anyway. Palace panicking for a minute there, Rio.
Yeah, Sterling into the first half. It's something we really need to kind of create a spark. And I just hope we kind of take these positive notes from the end of this particular section and transfer it into the second half. It's been a half of very, very little quality, hasn't it? Either side. No, it's been a game of poor defending, inexcusable errors, and unfortunately we're on the wrong end of it at the moment, but I still think any side can win this.
Yeah, it's a strange one. Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, looking back at it, I mean, we have been sort of reasonably devoid of actual quality, and which is a strange thing to say when you've got a game that's had 5 goals in the opening 45 minutes. But yeah, I think you're right. It's There's not an awful lot of great football. Lots of individual errors and mistakes. Palace not defending properly from set pieces. West Ham just not defending properly, full stop. And that's pretty much left us where we are. I'm just waiting for the half-time whistle to blow. We've got 30 seconds of the 5 added on minutes left to play. Palace just inside West Ham's half, looking to create one more opening before the half-time whistle. Declan Rice gets back to cover. It's still Palace with the ball to the right of West Ham's box. Cross comes in, it's deep, and there's a bit of a tumble in the box. Palace will ask for a penalty. It's no way near a penalty. Zaha basically diving onto the ground under duress. But I think we're going to get the whistle any second. Craig Paulson looks at his watch. The ball's played all the way back to Palace keeper Johnson, and I think that's going to be half-time. We're just waiting for it to go. Still in play. Back with Johnson once again. Played and added on 10 seconds now. It's now 5 minutes, 15 seconds. There it goes. Paulson blowing the half-time whistle at 50 minutes and 15 seconds, an additional 5 minutes played. And, well, interesting half. Not one absolutely full of quality, but it's certainly full of goals. 5, unfortunately, West Ham on the wrong end of that, scoring just twice. We did, of course, open the scoring after 9 minutes. Tommy Souček put West Ham ahead. From Jared Bowen's corner before Andre Ayew, Jordan Ayew levelled for the home side, beating Zuma to a ball played into the box at the near post from where he beat Lucas Fabianski's near post. Zaha put the hosts 2-1 up 5 minutes later on 20 minutes when he had a tap in at the far post from a Elise cross, and Schlupp dispossessing Souček on the half-hour mark. Poor pass from Nyfergerd, putting Souček under unnecessary pressure. Souček losing possession, Schlupp driving into the box and putting the ball through Fabianski's legs to make it 3-1 to Palace. But West Ham got back into it 6 minutes later. A corner from the left, Souček headed on. Antonio finishing unmarked at the far post to make it 3-2. Souček a goal, an assist, and a calamitous error. So it's been a very busy half for Souček. Terrible game, says Alfs. But Flag Sandwich suggesting that they fancy us to take it to Palace in the second half. How do you sum that first 45 minutes up, Rio? It's a strange game. Lots of goals, which is good, but conceding 3 of them isn't so good.
Hawaiian chicken sandwich.
Yeah, it's a game devoid of quality, devoid of intelligence. The one thing it's not devoid of is defensive ineptitude. As you said, Palace defending corners look as clueless as we do defending in any other kind of aspect of the game. We've been undone by not great goals. There's a player stepping up and getting caught 3 or 4 yards out of position for the first goal. Very similar kind of pattern for the second, and then a comedy of errors for the third. You've got to look at the keeper, who's made at least one error, Fabianski, for the first. I don't think he did particularly well with the third goal.
Yeah.
It's just a very, very strange game. 5 goals in, you'd expect some of it to look back and think, there's some wonderful footballers out there. Lucas Paquetá is a great footballer. Eze for Palace is a wonderful footballer. But we've never seen any of them kind of get on the ball and shine. It's always been down to errors. It's always been down to kind of ineptitude. And for a top flight game, now any coach watching this will be in that dressing room at the moment. And if David Moyes isn't throwing things around the room, I'll be very surprised. And if Roy Hodgson isn't doing very much the same, I'll be surprised again. The defending there from both sides is completely unacceptable.
Yeah, can't argue with the word of that. I mean, it's pretty much sums up everything we've seen there in that opening 45 minutes. How are you feeling about the second half? Are you quietly confident, or you think it's just going to get worse for West Ham?
I think it's just going to be much of what we've seen in the first half from us. You rarely get West Ham kind of turn things around after a break. All I kind of really springs to mind is that we kind of set up in a certain way, and we never kind of shift that mindset during a period. Either we have a really good day or a really bad day, and I just think today's our bad day. And I'm just fearful what's going to come up in the next week. Wednesday night's going to be an absolute nightmare for me. City have finally got into their groove. They've got that title in their sights. It's never a happy hunting ground, obviously, what with the financial and the squad depth that they have, and it's going to be a complete mismatch if we perform like this in a defensive manner on Wednesday night. We're going to get ripped apart by about 7 or 8. I'm more hopeful for next Sunday because at home you should be able to turn things around, and under the lights, nighttime game, we should be up for it. But Wednesday night, I'm dreading. I'm absolutely dreading at the moment.
We're playing these games at probably the wrong time, aren't we? Really, because you've got Man City, of course, who are gunning for the title, and I think that might be the game that could put them above Arsenal if they don't do so this weekend. But Man United, of course, going for the Champions League spots as well, trying to beat Tottenham on 1 or 2 others. Villa as well in the mix at the moment as well. So yeah, tough time to be playing those particular teams. But Rio, we know what's going to happen. We're going to lose today, and then we're going to turn both Man City and Man United over in true West Ham fashion. I don't think any of us would be surprised in some way if that actually happened. Maybe Man City, but Man United certainly not. But let's have a quick look at a couple of the comments we've got from the team. Hobo saying that how we're still in this, I've no idea based upon that first half showing. And Epic Hashtime says Moyes loves running players into the ground who'll start the same team against Man City. Craven adding, no doubt Zuma is out for the season. Then we'll have to rely on 35-year-old Ogbonna. Just our luck. City will completely smash us. Just have to hope Leicester and Leeds are still back. Are we still in the relegation fight, Rio?
Made it a tight game.
I don't believe we are. As I said earlier, I just think there. Southampton for me look doomed. Leicester and Everton are trying to outdo each other in ineptitude. I think those 3 are the ones you really got to kind of really think are down already. I just really can't see the mindset changing from them. Forest, I might probably get out of it because of their home form. So I think we're safe. I'd just like to see a bit more urgency and a bit more mentality from both the management and the players to suggest that they don't feel they're safe, that we actually need to come out and win today, that this is a vital game. Instead, we're just going through the motions at the moment, and it's like a training session, like pre-season friendly, and trying to shake off the cobwebs. So, like, you can have defensive errors. Oh, yeah, we'll iron that out next week. No, this is the business end of the season. We're still not mathematically safe. We've still got a trophy on the cards here. It's just a typical West Ham Jekyll and Hyde performance, isn't it? One week we look absolutely amazing. The next look like we haven't met each other, let alone played football.
Yeah, it's definitely a little bit like that. Should we have a couple of stats? Let's have a couple of stats for you. Mickey Antonio first. His first half by numbers, 86% passing accuracy, 3 ball recoveries, 2 ground duels, 1, 2 shots, 1 clearance, 1 dribble completed, 1 aerial duel, 1 and 1 goal. Of course, that goal bringing West Ham back into the game. Thomas Souček's first half, quite interesting. 23 touches, has won 2 out of 2 tackles. Won 2 ground duels, 2 shots on target, 1 key pass, 1 big chance created, 1 goal, 1 assist, and 1 error, leading to a goal. So as we were saying a few minutes ago, he's kind of gone from not being involved week in, week out to being more involved than anybody else. Will West Ham, will Moyes be pleased, do you think, Rio? I mean, not obviously based on his hopes at the start of the game, but having seen what's transpired, do you think he'll be reasonably content that we're only 1 goal down here and it isn't any worse?
I think he'll be relieved rather than pleased. This game has been so devoid of quality. It's an absolute joke. The players out there, I mean, how often has Declan Rice been involved this half? I don't think we mentioned him once in comms until probably the 34th minute.
Yep.
Lucas Paquetá has been on the periphery of everything. When he has got the ball, on the very rare occasions, it's been wasteful and it's been like non-productive. Pablo Fornals, who's been crying out for game time, we've not actually utilised him once today. The only players have been in the actual kind of mix have been the 2 fullbacks who, unfortunately for Vladimir Suka, he's been given an absolute sorry time by Wilfried Zaha. Emerson, who's been a really good player for us over the last month or two, has been, he's been caught out of position, out of form. Every centre back we've utilised so far has made glaring error after glaring error. It's only Mikel Antonio who's really kind of been a bit of a bright spark going forward. And again, he's playing a lone thorough up front and getting very little change out of the Palace defence. So we've really got to kind of get midfield players into the game and start trying to utilise them and start getting some passes in behind that Palace defence. Palace, they're trying to do that to us, and it's been done with effect. But even they're not showing that much quality, are they? I mean, I say Eze probably their greatest player at the moment, and he's not really shone. It's just been a really nothing game. The biggest disappointment for me at the moment is a couple of the scorers. Jordan Ayew. If we signed him, the fans would be up in arms because he's a very nondescript kind of forward.
Yeah.
But he's one of those players like Leon Osman, like Kevin Davis, who score against us at every single opportunity. And it's getting beyond the joke now. I'm getting really fed up with this. I really get fed up with the players who are just going to turn up and score not because they're good, because we just allow it.
Ricardo Fuller,
Callum Wilson. It's the list goes on endlessly. Yeah.
These players would have, if it wasn't for the fact that they scored so frequently against West Ham, would have just slipped into kind of footballing oblivion. Yeah. But here we are, you and I bemoaning their existence and ability to score against West Ham United. Too many of them, too many average journeymen scoring plenty of goals against West Ham over the years. But yeah, there you go. Once again, we're showing we cannot cope against pace and pressing, says Dan B. We're making a lot of mistakes on the back foot for long periods. And Richard Walton agreeing, saying that our pressing is non-existent so far. Can I just ask, while we're at half-time and while nothing's happening on the pitch, that if you are enjoying the stream, just down there somewhere, there's a little thumbs up button. If you wouldn't mind giving that a press for us, it would be greatly appreciated, as I'm told it helps the channel. Just under there somewhere, little thumbs up button. Thank you very much if you managed to take the time to do that. Second half, just a few minutes away now, where West Ham needing to come back from this 3-2 deficit. Nome is at the ground, asking if the TV people have said anything about Zuma. No, as Dan has rightly said, we've not heard anything. But didn't look good. What did you make of that Zuma incident, Rio? Did you think it looked like a bad challenge? I mean, what worried me is the fact that it didn't seem that bad, but he couldn't continue, and usually they're the worst ones, right?
Yeah, like I said the other night, he was kind of touching at his leg, like upper thigh muscles, and kind of walking gingerly. So maybe this was one challenge too many. He does look a little bit frail this season. I know last year that there was a lot of football played, and it's going to take out of you. But he's been so susceptible to injuries this season, and he didn't look comfortable at the start. He had to lay off. He's come back, and just when he's finding a little bit of form, a little bit more presence, there's 2 or 3 games in a row where he took a knock. And it took a lot longer to shake off than you would have expected, and today looks like the culmination of that.
Yeah, it's worrying anyway, but we'll hopefully have some more information for you on Zuma's injury status before the end of the stream. I want to roll back a little bit to Flag Sandwich, mate, just before half time, when we were chatting about historical stuff, and I read your message slightly wrong, Flag. I do apologise. You were asking if Rio and I knew that West Ham got our team colours from Villa. Well, I'm aware of the story. So everyone else can go. It's almost certainly an urban myth, actually. The story, as it goes, of course, for that, I'm sure you're all aware, but on the odd chance that there is one Hammers fan out there who isn't aware of this particular urban myth, Charlie Dove, I believe, was the player who was involved in a race with the Villa players, and as we won that particular race, Villa were said to have given us a set of kit which West Ham wore thereafter. Not true. Well, at least it might be true, but it certainly isn't from that which West Ham's colours stem. We know this because about 20 years ago, Rio, if I remember rightly now, a couple of the chaps from the forum did some extensive research into this, didn't they? We had a few guys from the forum who went and trawled through all the local libraries in the area to see if there was any confirmation of this or if there was any other news. We found no confirmation whatsoever about the Villa story. What we did discover is that it's almost certainly an urban myth, because West Ham's colours, we understand, come from an amalgamation of Castle Swifts, who used to wear sky blue shirts, and the claret is, of course, the corporate colours of Thames Ironworks, even though they used to play in dark blue shirts, or royal blue shirts. But that's where West Ham's colours are believed to have come from. So although the Villa story is a nice one, there's no evidence to suggest it's true. Whereas there is plenty of evidence to show that Castle Swift used to play in blue, and the corporate colours of Thames Ironworks were claret. Yeah, good story, that one, but we're not sure, Flag. If you want to read more about that, if you go to the Hall of Fame forum, I think it is Rio, isn't it? There is a Hall of Fame forum on the KUMB forum. Have a look in there, search for the thread about our colours were, I think it's the thread starts something like our colours were this between 1902 or from 1902. You'll find it anyway. It's the only one related to West Ham shirt colours, but it's a good read anyway. 20 or 30 page thread taking you through all the research, or the historical research that some of the guys on the forum did to try and confirm the source of West Ham's kit. There you go. Back to today's game. We are players are back out on the pitch. There's some changes. Said Benrahma is on the pitch, Rio, as is Aaron Cresswell. Looks like David Moyes was completely unhappy with that left-hand side. He's pulled Fornells, he's pulled Emerson. We did see a graphic just before half-time to suggest that majority of Palace's attacking play was coming down our left-hand side, Rio. I presume that's why Moyes has made that decision.
Yeah, obviously the stats show that. Also, David Moyes reverting to his tried and trusted once more. Something that we mentioned at the top of the show, that he does like his lieutenants and his tried and trusted players. So maybe he thinks that's going to bring a bit of stability. My big worry is that Said Benrahma in his last 4 or 5 games, despite our decent kind of resurgence a little bit in terms of results, he hasn't been at the races for me. Even Wednesday night, there's a lot of people like waxing lyrical about a couple of the runs he did and the dribbles. But apart from like 2 or 3 moments where he kind of dribbled around a couple of players, there's very little end product. And it's something I've noticed, particularly over the last kind of 3 or 4 weeks, when he does get a shooting opportunity from distance, from outside the box especially, it's always with very little power. And it's always seemed to be straight at the keeper. Mm-hmm. And now I desperately want him to succeed, but I just don't think he's a top level player, to be honest.
Yeah, I think it was Nick, wasn't it, some time ago, describing him as the player who's too good for the Championship but not good enough for the Premier League, which I quite like that. It made a lot of sense, I think. But there was one, actually, I mean, yeah, he had a shocker, didn't he, against Liverpool, I thought. But there was one moment he put in one, and it was completely un-Benrahma-esque. He worked his way into the box, didn't he? That ball, I'm talking about the one where he played it across the box, where Mickey Antonio nearly got in, but Van Dijk just stuck a toe. You remember the ball? It's a fantastic pass, but it'd be great to see a bit more of that, wouldn't it, from Said, rather than, as you say, the kind of aimless just shooting from the wrong position, making the wrong choice. That was really good to see. But anyway, he's got 45 minutes to show what he can do now, because he's on the pitch. As Rio rightly said, he's not had a good 2 or 3 weeks recently, Said. Been off the boil a little bit. So hopefully he can join 1 or 2 others. Pablo Fornells, Rio. I don't think we mentioned him at all, did we, in the first half?
No, I don't think he come to the fore until probably the last couple of moments when we broke down the left-hand side. And there's going to be people in the forum who are going to kind of jump on a little bit of a bandwagon and go, well, the reason he isn't playing because he isn't shown any form. But did we give him an opportunity today? Did we really feed him? Did we really give him? None of our midfield had the ball at their feet and had time and pace and possession. No, Paquetá didn't. Declan Rice didn't. Pablo Fornells. But Pablo Fornells is a scapegoat for David Moyes at the moment. There's something going on there. He hasn't been at the races most of the season, but, give me 45 minutes here and there and 5 minutes here and there. He's going to get a player into form. And we saw how emotional he was last week after scoring that goal. That, I worry that there's something more at stake. I think maybe the issues off the pitch, maybe footballing wise has things have been exacerbated by other issues.
Yeah.
He just, for a man who plays with a smile on his face and with a bit of love and passion for the game, he doesn't seem to be showing much of it at the moment.
There was that post-match interview, wasn't there, last week, where I think it was the Bournemouth game. He was spoken to by the club on their website. He just looked devastated, even though we just won 4-0. You're right. There's clearly something amiss with Pablo. Don't know whether it's a personal issue or whether it's something related to to the club and work. I suspect it's the former. There's this tendency to believe that footballers are like robots, but like Sebastian Haller, for example, often criticised by fans for his performance. But what a lot of people didn't realise is that behind the scenes, they just had a new child. His daughter, I think it was born, and there was some complications with the birth. And we're dads, Rio. You know what it's like when it's your kids and they're going through that, and it's all consuming. Nothing else is important at the time. It's sometimes I just think these things aren't, it's not necessarily the fault of the fans. We're not, and rightly so, we're not privy to a lot of this information. But I think it's easy to forget that footballers are just human beings. At the end of the day, they're subject to the same trials and tribulations and worries and concerns that every single one of us are. And they're not robots, and can be forgotten sometimes. But anyway, 5 minutes gone in the second half. Palace have had one shot so far. Fabianski forced to make a save low to his right-hand side. Fairly comfortable save for Fabianski, not much in it. But West Ham not producing a great deal so far. There was an opportunity a few moments ago where we worked the ball into the right-hand channel for Jared Bowen to pull it back across, looking beside Benrahma, but Benrahma couldn't quite get on the end of it. Benrahma lurking inside the 6-yard box, and Palace managed to avert the danger. So it remains 3-2. Not the right game for Fornells, says Alfs. Who also adds that Cresswell will be awesome against their pace. I'm suspecting a little bit of Alfs not being quite straightforward with us there. But anyway, Palace attacking on the right-hand side. Now, Angelo Ogbonna up against Ayew. Ayew looks to get his cross in, but Ogbonna stands tall, prevents it from coming in, and the ball's out for Palace's first corner of the second half. Tony Cotty talking about the first half says that was a busy half. Definitely more goals in this game. We need to come out quickly as we can still get something from this. Come on, you Irons, said TC. Of course, been seen a lot lately following the Hammers. I've spotted him personally in Frankfurt, and he was in Belgium the other day, just behind us. So it's good to see some ex-players following the boys. Palace take the corner. Yeah, again, it's another short one. Little one too. Cross finally coming in, but that's a terrible delivery coming in, delivered to the back post by Elise. Of course, got an assist earlier on in the game, didn't he? But he's not going to get one from there because that ball's just gone straight out into touch for a West Ham goal kick. 6 minutes gone in the second half. Get Benny on, says Hobo at halftime. Well, you've had your wish granted there, Hobo. Let's hope he can do something now. Any thoughts on the opening 5 or 6 minutes, Rio? Not an awful lot from West Ham. In fact, nothing really seems to have changed from the first.
No, I've been looking down the left-hand side more than anything, just to keep an eye on it. If like the two changes have made a difference. All I've seen is Benrahma misplace a couple of passes, and Cresswell look a little bit under threat because the pace. It's a pace on that right hand side for Palace, our left, which is still going to cause issues. And if we're relying on a 33, 34-year-old left back to kind of rescue games and rescue our season, something amiss.
We've just seen great comic time inside Benrahma try to pass the ball, a short 10-yard pass to Cresswell, and he just put it straight out into touch. But hopefully things will improve. No, they were just working together actually on that left-hand side while you were talking there, Rio. So the first glimpse perhaps of some involvement, from those two. We didn't see anything, did we, as we were saying a few moments ago in the first half. So hopefully Benrahma and Cresswell can get a little bit more involved and give us something. Paquetá, not involved really. Also for West Ham so far, you need to see a bit more from him. He's been fantastic, hasn't he, the last couple of weeks, Rio? He's really, I don't know if it's a question of he's finally settling into his new surroundings or whether, it's just a couple of games that have gone his way. But he's looked fantastic, hasn't he, those last few games?
I think it's more the former. He's actually beginning to settle down. Because he's not just doing it against the likes of Bournemouth, he's doing it against his quality sides. I mean, much I hate to say it, Arsenal are a decent side this season. Liverpool are a decent side, even despite their struggles this season, their comparative struggles anyway.
Yeah.
And I mean, that goal and some of the play on Wednesday night from him was absolutely outstanding. Some of the stuff against Arsenal, he looked like he's a top-notch player. It's just taken a while to settle down. And like you said regarding the Fornals thing and with Haller, footballers, right, they may be paid vast sums of money. They may be in the public eye. They may be looked after really well, but they're still human. Things take time to settle down, adjust to new surroundings. You do not know what goes on in every aspect of a footballer's life. So it's really hard to judge, despite the fact they play well. And it's just indicative of modern era, isn't it? It's kind of celebrity culture. Everyone expects everything from people because they're well known. They've got a bit of money.
Basically, that's what it boils down to. Yeah. Couple of moments of concern for West Ham just a second ago. Elise had an effort tipped over the bar by Fabianski, broke through the centre, tried his luck from just outside the box, but tipped over by Fabianski. So second save of the half for the poll. West Ham not troubling Palace much so far. Get Benny off again, says Hobo, who, of course, just before halftime was urging Moyes to bring him on the field. Yeah, not had the greatest start as he, Benny, but just need one piece of magic. I mean, this is the thing at 3-2, 1-0, 2-1, 3-2, one goal in it. All you need is that one bit of luck, and it's level pegging once again. West Ham with a free kick delivered deep, looking for Thomas Souček just outside the penalty box, but Souček felt he was impeded. Craig Paulson says no, which is basically what he's been saying to West Ham all afternoon. And Palace look to break into West Ham's half now. 55 minutes gone, 10 minutes into the second half. West Ham doing very little so far to suggest we can find our way back into this game. Strange performance from the Hammers. This one really sort of doesn't really kind of flies against what we've been doing in the last 3 or 4 games. And we'll have people rather worried again. Is there an element, Rio? Is there an element here of the players perhaps taking their foot off the gas a bit, thinking, well, we've got 34 points. We only really need one more win to solidify our position and make sure we're in the Premier League next year. Is there perhaps a little bit of kind of one foot on the beach syndrome happening here?
I think there is an element of that. As I said at half time, though, I mean, we still need to get that extra one win just to cement it. But no, it does look like there's an element of job done. Let's just concentrate on Europe. But it's never that simple. You just don't know what's going to come into the mix, do you? It's just worrying because you want to see players play really well like I did last Sunday and carry that momentum forward. And today is the polar opposite of what we did over the last 10 days. When we got that little bit of resurgence, it's just like we just resorted into a early season type, and it's a worrying kind of aspect that we can drop off our levels so badly.
Well, we need to keep those levels up for a few moments more here because Elise has got a corner from the right. It's delivered. It's a long one. I think it might be Palace's first long corner. It's headed clear, but delivered back into the box, but only falls to Said Benrahma, who looks to get something going for West Ham. Now, Paquetá's got the ball, looks to play Mickey Antonio down the line, but Antonio's not going to get on that one, and that's going to end up back with Johnson in the Palace goal. Yeah, we've not seen anything from West Ham so far in this second half. I mean, looking what options have we got on the bench there? We've got Cornet, Ings, Downs, Lanzini. So there are options there, Rio. Out of that lot, would you be looking to bring on any one of those, imminently or soon at least?
My biggest fear is that this isn't a game for Danny Ings again. And if he does come on, it's not going to be to augment Mikel Antonio. It's going to be to replace him. And it just doesn't suit that role. Maybe Lanzini would come and offer a little bit of stability in midfield. But, again, we're not feeding the players out there. How are we going to feed him if we bring him on? Maxwell Cornet is probably the only person on there who could actually make a difference in terms of the way we approach the game, give Palace a little bit more to think about in terms of pace and a little bit of worry. But even he's not from. He's so desperate to score that he's letting every time he gets a ball, he's single-minded. He's not thinking the bigger picture. He's always just thinking, I need to get this monkey off my back.
Yeah. Vladdy Soufal's just been given a yellow card for tripping Wilfried Zaha. Zaha dropping the shoulder, feigning to go inside and then putting the weight back onto his left foot, knocking the ball past Soufal, who just sticks a leg out and brings Zaha to the ground. Zaha actually genuinely looks like he's troubled by this injury-wise. He's hobbling. Doesn't look very comfortable at all. He's won the free kick. He's got the booking, so there's no need for him to feign injury anymore. But this is going to be taken just to the left of West Ham's penalty box. Oh, funny noise coming from outside there. Wonder what that was. Now, let's see. West Ham lining up alongside the edge of the 6-yard box. Numbers back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Every West Ham player inside the Hammers penalty box, headed up by Tommy Soucek. Good clearance. And the second ball met by Mickey Antonio, but that's just going to roll out for a Palace corner on the other side. It's all Palace at the moment, Rio. West Ham can't get out of our own half right now. Zaha still limping, by the way.
Yeah, no, the signs are not looking good at all. The two changes have not made one iota of difference. The biggest thing to note for the second half for me is I thought Tom Araya from Slayer was at the sidelines. Panned right across to must be someone on the medical staff who's got very long grey hair, and I thought was a bib. It had to turn out to be a mask. And I've just watched, before we come on here, I watched Slayer live at Wacken in 2014. I thought Tom's made a really kind of miraculous journey from Wacken over the Sellers Park, and it's not. It was just I think it might have been a woman. So I do apologise, love.
Reminds me of that meme. I can't remember the commentator's name, but it says about who's this lovely young lady you're talking to, and then the chap turns around and says it's a woman. Oh no, sorry, it says it's a man. Got that wrong. Where are we? An hour gone. Crystal Palace 3, West Ham United 2. Palace just had another effort at goal, by the way, but the Hammers managed to clear it out. Ray Lewington handing the ball back to Vladi Soufal on the halfway line, and West Ham looking to build again. We're in the final half hour of this game now. West Ham need to conjure up something. Haven't had a shot at goal as far as I can recall in this second half, but looking to make something happen now. Aaron Cresswell rolls it short to Paquetá, down the line to Ben Rama, into Paquetá. Some clever interplay by West Ham, but Ben Rama loses the ball, and it's smashed back at Ben Rama, and it comes off him for a Palace throw. And Palace, understandably, not taking. I'm not urgently trying to get the ball back in play, taking the time over this throw-in, as you would expect in their position. No sign of any changes yet from Palace. Of course, they're quite happy with what they've got, but West Ham have won the ball back. Cresswell tries to play the ball into the channel for Mickey Antonio, but there's no movement from Antonio, and it rolls straight through to the goalkeeper. West Ham not able to get any kind of football going so far in this second half. Yeah, it's not good. The players look knackered, says Hobo. Interesting. What do we think about that, Rio? The fatigue aspect.
I think I did kind of mention it earlier on as well. We're doing exactly what we did last season. We're burning all the 11, 13 players that we are going to utilise properly week in, week out, and we burn them into the ground. For me today, we know that Danny Ings can't play that lone thrower up front like Mikel Antonio does. So if Mikel is looking off form, if he's looking a little bit tired, then maybe you should give Divan Mbama a go, because he might be a little bit raw, but he offers that physical presence up front. He'll run through brick walls for you. He'll be itching to make an impact. A couple of youngsters from the other night really would have made a difference today. I know they looked tired towards the end of the game, but they've had 3 or 4 days rest.
Yeah.
And they'll be itching to make an impression at the moment. And we're just going for the motions. We look tired, we look fatigued, we look devoid of ideas, devoid of intelligence, we look devoid of everything at the moment.
Well, what we're not devoid of is conceding penalties, because Palace have just been awarded a spot kick. Now, is it Declan Rice who's responsible for that? Let's have another look. The ball was played through the centre. It's Aguerd who's responsible. Now let's have a look. I mean, it's a blatant dive. It's a blatant dive. It's Etse who's got the ground. Now he's going to be claiming that Aguerd pulled him by the arm. Let's have another look at this. Let's have another look at this. There's no contact with feet. It's a dive. It's a blatant dive. I can't believe if VAR check this that they're not going to overturn it. It's or they should do. They should do. No, I shouldn't say that. They should do. I can quite believe they won't overturn it after what happened the other night, Rio. But to me, that's a clear and blatant dive. Etse's thrown himself to the floor. What did you make of it?
I've just seen it now. Yeah, he's thrown himself. Yeah, that's it. He's thrown himself to the floor. He's tried to kind of turn on the inside of a knife, on the outside knife for Gerd. Got his feet caught from underneath him, and he's gone down like an absolute sack. That's never a penalty.
No, I didn't. The only question I can think of is, does Agard have a grip of his shirt? Is that what Pawson's seen? I'm not sure he does, but is that what Pawson's thinking? Maybe.
It's the only thing I can think of. I've not seen another replay of it. It's coming up now. Yeah, he's got his arm out, and I think that probably makes the difference. That'll probably make VAR give this.
No, it's been given.
Yeah, it's outstretched arm, little grab at the shirt. Yeah, he's made it easy for the officials there.
The only thing is, I mean, none of the angles I've just seen there provide any evidence that he did actually grab his shirt. I mean, you can see his arm go out like that, but you can't actually see. Normally, in those circumstances, kind of there, if I can demonstrate, but you might see the shirt being pulled from the side. You know, you couldn't see that there, could you at all? So I don't know. But anyway, it doesn't matter. It's been given. After 3 or 4 minutes of deliberation, Palace have a penalty. VAR goes with Pawson, and Lucas Fabianski needs to make a save to keep West Ham in this game here. Just waiting for it to be taken. Little jig, stops the run up, and it's passed into the back of the net, and it's 4-2 to Palace, and West Ham are falling to pieces, Rio.
I think I just can't see no way back. The two changes we made at half time haven't made 1 iota difference. We're still not doing the things that we were lacking in the first half in terms of trying to utilise the obvious quality we do normally have in midfield. We're not changing the dynamic of our attack. We've just made the same silly errors. And I mean, how many times have we been in the opposition half since the restart? Once, twice?
Yeah.
To no real effect. It's just a woeful performance. And it's the latest in the catalogue of woeful performances this season. This little resurgence we had, it wasn't, it wasn't all entirely of our doing that we kind of forced the issue. Arsenal let us off a little bit. We struggled against Ghent. We put a poor Bournemouth to the sword, but even that wasn't perfect. And today, just the old issues are coming to the fore again, and it doesn't bode well for the rest of the season. And this is why at the top of the show I said we need to change, and I'm still sticking by it.
I'm still sticking by my initial assertion that was never a penalty. I've seen it about 8 or 9 times now from different angles. Not one, unfortunately, from what you might perhaps call Lucas Fabianski's side, so you can see if there was any shirt grab by Agard. But even if he does, grab him, that's not enough for Etse to fall down in that fashion. And it continues to frustrate me anyway that players dive and cheat regularly, but this is where we are now. Unfortunately, Lucas Fabianski comes out of his goal to take one down on the chest. I'm slightly worried about that, given what happened against Newcastle a couple of weeks ago. But anyway, this time he manages to get the ball under control and find a West Ham player. But West Ham, we're now 3/4 of the way, exactly 3/4 of the way through the game. 67 minutes and 30 seconds played as I speak. West Ham find themselves 4-2 down. It's going to need a storming comeback if the Hammers is to get anything from this game. For sure. And as Rio said just a few moments ago, we've not shown anything whatsoever in this second half in terms of our attacking prowess. Danny Ings coming on says Dan B. We'll see if, as Rio suggested earlier, that's going to be a straight 1-for-1, or whether Moyes is going to throw caution to the wind and perhaps have 2 strikers on. Paquetá coming off, it seems. Alf's criticising the tactical approach of the manager, saying Moyes' tactics are static regardless of the opposition on the performance, so predictable. Hobo, going back to that penalty decision, says there's nothing you can do about penalty decisions like that. It's truly shocking to give a penalty there. Can't disagree. Ings on for Paquetá in the 69th minute for West Ham. So the Hammers going 4-4 2, it would seem.
Those games still need to
Well, we didn't expect it, Rio, but it looks like we've got it.
Very true.
Yeah, I'm still not convinced it will actually be a proper 4-4-2. Maybe we might see kind of Mikel Antonio drift out wide again. And if it is a 4-4-2, it's just too little too late. Our midfield hasn't had a grip of this game whatsoever. I just really can't see how we're going to change this in any kind of respect. If we're going to go for a proper 4-4-2, the person to take off, I know we lose the height, is Thomas Souček, because at least Pekka will get hold of the ball and try and utilise it if we do get him on it. We're asking just far too much now, Declan Rice, to grab a hold of the game he's not really been involved in.
Yeah, funnily enough, I mean, Declan's on the ball right now. I've seen probably touch the ball more in the last 60 seconds than he had in the previous 68 minutes. But cross comes in for West Ham. It's a good-looking ball. Keeper comes out, kind of fumbles it a bit, but he's managed to get it away. But that was a decent cross coming in from Jarrod Bowen on the right-hand side. First sign of any kind of intent or danger from West Ham really in the second half. We've just not been at it since the break. But Palace bursting forward now on the left-hand side. Zaha with the ball up against Soufal again. Soufal's got to be careful. He's already been booked. Zaha's still in the box. Plays it across, but Aaron Cresswell gets a foot in and manages to get it clear. Looking for Mickey Antonio, who does really well to use his strength and get the ball. Now he's just been grabbed round the neck and thrown to the floor by the Palace defender, and Paulson's not going to book him. I can't recall seeing. I mean, he's kind of grabbed him here around the chest. It's Anderson who's got him and just throws him to the floor. And Paulson just says, "Play, have a free kick." Off you go. No booking. That's fine. Unbelievable, really. But Paulson, I mean, what do you make of the referee today? Am I being unfair on Paulson today, Rio? But to me, he's had an absolute shocker out there.
He's not covered himself in glory. But then again, when do we ever say a referee has? No, it's just it's a long line of ineptitude. If the players ain't inept, then the officials are. But yeah, he's had I've just seen the replay of that. He has been thrown to the floor. I mean, how can you not see that? How can you not see the outcome of that? If no one was here, he'd be going apoplectic, wouldn't he?
I mean, as nailed on yellow cards go, surely that's got to be one. But no, apparently not. Pawson is certainly not given West Ham an awful lot today. Little stat for you: the 6 goals scored so far in this game is the most goals ever in a match between these two teams.
Most of the duels out there.
There you go. I'm trying to think back at past Palace games, and I can't say there's an awful lot that do stand out. Actually, Rio, can you think of any? I mean, the odd moments like the Heights free kick, of course, that the bowling in the final season. But I can't think of any too many thrilling games. The playoff final, of course, which is instantly forgettable. Rio, any that stand out for you?
Yeah, no. Palace were just one of them nondescript sides. I think probably the best one for me is might have been we was 2-0 down about a minute ago, and we scored 2 goals in the last minute. That's probably about the most exciting it's ever been at Palace.
Hey, well, we've just got another one. Naifa Gerda scored. So it's game on again. It's a goal fest here at Crystal Palace. And yet again, it's a set piece. Is that 3 set pieces I think we've scored from now today? It's game on. It's Jarrod Bowen from the right-hand side. He's crossed, delivered to the near post. Souček again with a nod on. And I think Naifa Gerda's just beaten Mickey Antonio to the ball on this occasion. It's bundled into the back of the net via the head of the Moroccan. Yeah, he does. Souček has 2 assists now and a goal, Rio.
He's flying. He's right. If I hadn't dropped him in my fantasy side way back early in the season, I'd be absolutely delighted. But how the hell are we still in this game? We have offered absolutely nothing other than set piece proliferation. It's been an awful game of football, and yet there's been 7 goals. It's beggars belief. If this was an advert for Premier League football around the world, right, you'd be looking at it going like, what the hell? Oh, look, 7 goals. Must have been entertaining. It's not. It's been absolute garbage in every sense that you can imagine. And even looking at that goal, there's not a lot of touch there from a girl.
I don't think anyone touched it. Well, I can tell you, Rio, we've just had a VAR check, and we've seen several slow motion replays. I don't think Antonio, Gerd certainly doesn't get anything on it. And I don't think Antonio gets anything on it. So I can only assume that they're checking for a push or something at the far post. What does Peter? Oh, it's been given anyway. VAR says
Possible
it's fine.
handball was the official decision.
Maybe a handball, yeah. But I think that's Souček's goal. I don't think anyone gets on the end of that. So I'm actually going to change my notes there and give it to the Czech. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I don't think anyone got a touch on that. Yeah. Tom, you can have what you want, mate. Have what you want today. You got carte blanche.
Tommy Souček on a hat trick. There you go. Been a long time since we've been able to say that. I'm not sure we've been able to say it ever before. But anyway, I'm going to call it now. I'm going to call a West Ham equaliser. I'm going for a 4-4. Don't call a late winner. But yeah, I mean, it's virtually West Ham's first attack of any meaning and of any note in the second half, Rio, isn't it? And it just kind of goes to show how vulnerable and how porous that Palace defence can be from set pieces. Because pretty much every time we've had a corner or free kick, they've looked dangerous, or we've looked dangerous.
Yeah, absolutely. If only we was any good at attacking and actually forcing corners, because I think it's 3 from 3. It almost feels like it's just ridiculous football from both sides today, and it's horrible to watch. It really is horrible to watch.
Goal officially accredited to Gerd, according to Craven. I'm still going to give it to Souček because I'm fairly certain that Gerd didn't touch it. I could be wrong, I suppose. I mean, their monitors, I guess, are a bit clearer than mine at the moment. But anyway, West Ham have the ball now. It's a throw into the Hammers. We're about 27, 28 yards from Palace's goal. It's on the right-hand side of the pitch and won by Mickey Antonio. Stepping forward is my pitch is so bad today. I can't even tell. I'm guessing that's Vladdy Soufal. It's going to be a long one held into the box. Indeed, it is. Onto the head of Antonio, but cleared out by Palace, who are looking just a little bit desperate at the moment. Which, bearing in mind they've scored 4 goals at home today, is probably unexpected. But they're hanging on now, and this could be an interesting last 15. Soufal with another throw for West Ham, held into the box. Headed on by Ogbonna into the mix. Palace trying to get it clear. Gerd keeps it, Rice keeps it in there, but now Palace have the chance to counter. It's 2 against 3, but Declan Rice has done really well to get back in, and Danny Ings trips the breaking Palace player to make sure he goes nowhere. That's AU, and good bit of professional work done by those two to make sure Palace don't get any further. We've got 14 minutes to go. Stick with us, folks. It's going to be an entertaining ending. West Ham have played terrible, quite frankly, today, but still managed to score 3 goals, still in the game, and one piece of luck, and we're back in it. What do you make? A Gerd for the goal, Rio? I mean, he must have got something on it, mustn't he?
I can only imagine he's got the very faintest of touches. It didn't look convincing at all. I, like yourself, thought it virtually drifted straight in. But, if he spreads the goal around, I think the Gerb's at 2 in 4 games now. More prolific than Danny Ings, let's put it that way.
There's some a break in play now as Jordan Ayew receives treatment following that challenge from Danny Ings. Both sets of teams have gone to their respective dugouts for further instruction. Ayew complaining about the fashion in which he was sent tumbling to the ground. Now let's have another look. We're seeing a replay again. Does it get anything on this? No, he doesn't. Unless it's come off his shoulder, maybe, as the ball dropped. Let's have a look at this angle. Souček gets the header on. It's deflected off a Palace player. Now, who does it fall on? I can only assume, Rio, they're giving that to a Gerd because it's dropped onto his left-hand shoulder. It's the faintest of touches, even if that is the case. But anyway, it doesn't really matter from a West Ham perspective. We've got the goal. It's been given, and it's allowed. But we've scored a couple like that. Dawson used to have a bit of a propensity to score with his chest and shoulder. And going back many years, I seem to recall Christian Daly scoring one with his genitals. Do you remember that one, Rio? I think it was the playoff semi-final against Ipswich, the first one. I think it was Everton's corner, and didn't it hit Daly in the Jacobs, as it were?
Didn't he force it home with his actual foot afterwards, though? And it did take a while for him to recover, but yeah. Mr. Plum got an assist, let's put it that way.
It's one of those where you genuinely know the player's hurt because they've scored a goal, and instead of celebrating, they're down clutching their nether regions in absolute agony. So Yeah, but yeah, we scored some unfortunate. Carlton Cole, of course, was prolific, wasn't he, from scoring goals, not with his foot or his head, but other parts of his anatomy, his backside, his back, and all sorts over the years. But anyway, if you've got any, if you can remember any particularly odd West Ham goals scored with strange parts of the body, let us know what sticks in your mind, folks. Ben Rama caught offside, much to Alf's consternation. Asking how exactly was caught offside there. Yeah, not checking the line, was he? Should have been a bit better there. But time beginning to tick away now. 11 minutes left of normal times. Palace 4, West Ham United 3. The Hammers 1-0 ahead and then 3-1 down and 4-2 down. But on both occasions managed to halve that deficit and keep us in with a shout. Just one goal needed to get a point, which I guess would be quite welcome. Given the way this game's panned out for the Hammers so far. West Ham have a throw-in on the halfway line. Tommy Suchek looks to take it quickly, but leaves it for Mickey Antonio, who leaves it for Aaron Cresswell. He's passed the ball at the moment. And Cresswell walks forward about 7 or 8 yards, which Paulson allows, before taking the throw. Now, can West Ham make something of this down the left-hand side? The ball's in the air a lot. Said Benrahma heads it straight to an opponent who manages to clear it out. Now this could be dangerous because it's Ayew versus Ogbonna. Ayew's managed to get a turn on Ogbonna, and Ogbonna's won the ball and Paulson's given a free kick to Palace. I'm not sure there was a lot in that, but Ayew injured again. Sorry, down again. Let's have another look at this one. Like a fair challenge to me from Ogbonna. Yeah, it's fair enough. Ayew's leaning into him. He's put his foot across him and won the ball. No foul at all. But once again, Craig Paulson deciding in the home side's favour. Just waiting for this to be taken. We're inside the final 10 minutes, 18 minutes and 20 seconds of the game on the clock. Palace leading by 4 goals to 3. 1 goal each in the second half. Etse scoring from the penalty spot after 6 minutes for Palace. And then Aguerd credited with West Ham's 3rd goal of the game. Here's another one for you, Rio. Games gone by when West Ham have scored 3 goals away from home and still lost. I would imagine this is a very, very narrow field of matches. I'm trying to think back. I can't think of one off the top of my head.
I can. I've got one.
Go on. Off you go.
We lost up at Blackburn. I think 90, it must be 98, 99, 89, 90 or 90, 91, something like that. I think we lost 5-4. I know Liam Bray's got an absolute cracker, but yeah, that was an absolute crazy day. I'm trying to think of another one. But yeah, the Blackburn one really stands out because that was just a crazy day at Ewood Park before it all got redeveloped, and it was horrible.
I can't remember that game at all. It's completely slipped my mind, that one. So I'll take your word. I can remember a couple at home, of course. We were leading 3-0 on both occasions, I think. Wimbledon, West Brom.
Yeah.
The Wimbledon one was, when would that have been? About 87, 88 maybe?
That was late than that, wasn't it?
Was it later?
Because Ian Wright scored it, so it's about 97, 98.
So that would have been right. Yeah, of course.
The West Brom one was about 2003, 4.
Yeah, because that was the Defoe was sent off, wasn't he? In that one. I think we were 3-0 up at the time, weren't we?
And also during lockdown when we commentated on the Arsenal one when we went 3-0 up, and
yes,
don't even want to bring that one up here, but
we did. We had that little spell, didn't we? And we nearly did it again the following week, 3-0 up, and it went 3-2. If you can remember any games where West Ham have scored 3 or more away from home and lost, then let us know. Of course, there was that famous, it wasn't a defeat, but it was a draw back in 1965, I think, where we played Chelsea at Stamford Bridge, and it ended up 5-5. I think Brian Diaz scored a hat-trick that day, if I'm not mistaken. But classic game from back then. But yeah, let us know. Hobo lost at home to Stoke from 3-0 2 many moons ago. I don't remember that one. I remember losing at home to Stoke from 3-0 down, but
if anyone can remember any game against Stoke, they're a braver man than me.
The words Ricardo Fuller, he did play for Stoke, didn't he? Fuller as well as Preston. He was at Stoke, wasn't he, for a while?
Yeah.
Of course he was. Yeah, of course. Change for Palace. Zaha is off, making his return from injury. Clearly not fully match fit or able to play a full game, and he's complaining. Actually, he's very, very upset about about being taken off. And oh yeah, he's furious at one of the coaches and Hodgson's just ignoring him. It's Lewington, actually, I think he's having a bit of a spat with, but clearly didn't want to come off. But anyway, he is, and it's Edouard on for Zaha. So hopefully this will work to West Ham's benefit. Anyway, we're inside the final 5 minutes. I've done Stoke, says Steve Palmer. What does that mean? What does that mean, Steve? You've done Stoke? Exactly. In what sense? Kenneth Sullivan says, I seem to remember scoring at least 3 against at Coventry and losing. Rio? Ringing any bells for you, that one? Coventry?
It isn't one that I went to, let's put it that way. I would remember that. I'm trying to rack my brains here. I haven't got much brain left anymore, but yeah, it's a struggle.
I'm looking through the list of historical results. I can't see a 3-2 defeat down there in 81. 3-1, some 5-2 to West Ham, 3-2. No, I can't see that one actually, Kenneth. So give us a reminder. Perhaps you mean a home game. Yeah, I've gone back to 1930 and I can't see one against Coventry. But anyway, yeah, let us know. I may well have missed it. 5 minutes to go. Anyway, 5 minutes of normal time left to go. Palace have a corner, which they're taking plenty of time over. And it's on West Ham's right-hand side. Palace is left. Lots of Palace players lining up on the edge of the 6-yard box. Of course, one more goal would definitely be enough, or you'd expect it to be enough to see Palace over the line. Let's see if they can get it. It's Etse with the corner. It's a long one again. Declan Rice does really well to get up and prevent a header coming in. I think that's another corner, but Paulson's given it as a goal kick, so probably for the first time this afternoon. No, actually, I think it's the right decision. Let's have another look. No, it's not. It's come off Declan Rice last, so it should be a corner. Paulson getting it wrong again, but fortunately on this occasion it's in West Ham's favour. Had a poor game, the referee. Lots of little decisions like that he's got wrong, free kicks and one or two other things. Obviously the penalty decision being the most contentious as far as the West Ham supporters are concerned. But anyway, Palace lead 4-3. 4 minutes to go. 86 minutes played. Again, Palace breaking forward. Etse's probably been about their best player so far. Of course, was on West Ham's radar for a while, wasn't he, Rio? Before he went to Palace. Do you think that's one we missed out on?
Oh, very much so. He's a player I really do rate. He took a little time to settle in the top flight, but he's done it with an absolute aplomb. I think he's a very, very good footballer indeed. I've just thought of another game, sorry.
Yes. Oh, wait, over you go.
We lost 4-3 at Chelsea in the Zenith Data Systems Cup in a very cold December day in, I think, about 1990.
Yep. Do you remember the scorers that day for West Ham?
I can look it up, but I can't remember it. I know it was absolutely freezing. It was about 3 days before Christmas.
Yep.
Very close to Christmas. It was absolutely freezing. Horrible journey back, and we lost 4-3. I'll try and check that one up, actually.
Yeah. I'll leave that one with you. You can fill us in on the details of that one. The mighty Zenith Data Systems Cup. Those were the days 30 years ago now. How time flies. Just under 3 minutes left here. Palace still with the ball. West Ham can't get the ball at the moment. We did have an opportunity a few minutes ago. It was a long ball played over. The Palace keeper came out to meet Mickey Antonio Johnson and he headed it away, but it kind of fell to side Benrahma, and briefly had the opportunity to try and chip Johnson from about 45 yards, not dissimilar to George Earthy's goal for the 18s the other night, similar distance, but Benrahma got his lines wrong, just kicked it straight at a Palace player who was stationed on the edge of the penalty box. But it was a chance for West Ham. We haven't spoken about the 18s yet, Rio, very, very briefly, because we're running out of time. But what a magic performance that was at the Emirates the other night.
It's absolutely amazing to see. I think there's about 3 or 4 players there who are genuine quality, and I think can actually make the step on. If obviously other factors come into play, but I think there is 3 or 4 that have the potential to move on. but as a team, they work as a sum of as an absolute unit.
Yeah.
And it's just delightful to see that they play with such verve, such enthusiasm, work hard for each other, and the way they do things is just exemplary. And all credit to Kevin Keane and his coaching staff for getting together that group of lads and making them into such a prolific and well-drilled unit.
Brilliant, wasn't it? One more change coming up for West Ham in the 89th minute. It's Cornet on for Antonio, West Ham's fourth change of the game. You mentioned 4 or 5, Rio. You think might make it. Any names?
Well, one that for me that it doesn't get the plaudits as much as like certain people, but I think Callum Marshall looks a real quality player. Scholes, Earthy, Casey, I think has got potential. He needs to be a little bit more robust and bulk up a little bit, but I think he's got potential. But I also thought young Kelly in the middle, who, you know, everyone around him has got that little bit of extra quality, but he works like a tiger, and maybe he could fill an absolute role that we're crying out for, someone who does the dirty work and feeds the better players.
Yeah. It's a good performance, wasn't it? Gideon Kadua's goal was brilliant, putting a real skipper's performance on the night. Yeah, I think George Earthy for me looked really impressive. I mean, the comparison was made with Mark Noble and John Moncur, I think, during the game, and he's definitely got elements of those players about his game. But yeah, the Irish lads have done really well, haven't they, since coming in? Callum Marshall been prolific in the Premier League 2 or Premier League South this season. We've just had the ball go up to confirm that we have 6 minutes of time added on, the first of which we are currently playing. So 6 minutes for the Hammers to somehow try and rescue a point from this game. A game we really should never have been losing, being 1-0 up after just 9 minutes. Seems a terribly long time ago now when Tommy Souček put West Ham ahead after just 9 minutes from Jared Bowen's corner. But we've seen another 6 goals since then, and who knows? Could there be another one? Elise credited with being man of the match by the BT Sports commentary team. We'll be doing our man of the match very soon. Naifa Gerd opens his legs and brings the ball out of defence, plays it short to Soufal, plays it down the line for Maxi Cornet. Now, can Cornet keep the ball in? He can, but it's going to be a Palace throw-in, I think. Couldn't quite keep the ball in altogether. So we're added on time now. Going to need something special from the Hammers to get a point out of this. Palace taking no time over the throw-in, as you won't be surprised to hear. It's been about 30 seconds so far. Let's see how long it takes. 33, 34, 30, 35 seconds between the ball going out of play and the throw-in being taken. So another half a minute wasted. West Ham need to keep the ball in possession. Souček with the ball. They've won it back, chipped into the box, looking for Cornet. Headed clear, but only as far as Souček. But Palace look to clear their lines now, but Vladi Soufal's done well to win the ball back. He's given it to Souček. Souček's done well. Now, this is better. Souček with a chance. Plays it out wide. Ben Rama. Oh, he's failed to control it properly, and he's just lost momentum, but he's still got the ball, and he's won a corner. It's a shame. It's a shame. If he'd have kept the ball there was either a shot on for Ben Rama. He's in a really good position, just to the left side of the goal. But it's another set piece, Real. We've already scored 3 from set pieces today. I would imagine there'll be some nerves out there in the Palace side of things. But I'll... one of those.
There'll also be nerves here because just bang on cue, my stream goes down after being exemplary for the most of the game.
All right, I'll keep you informed then. Aaron Cresswell's going to take it. Couple of assists already for Cresswell in the last couple of weeks since he came back into the team. All the big bodies in there. Souček's in there. Here it comes, delivered halfway into the goal. It's headed straight out. I think that's going to be a throw-in this time. I don't think it's gone out for a corner, but Palace finally managing to defend a set piece ably, unfortunately for West Ham at a time when we least needed them to do so. Is it a corner? No, it is a throw-in. And Soufal's come all the way across from the other side of the pitch because he's going to hurl a long Delap-esque ball into the box. Here it comes. Thrown into the near post where some West Ham heads go up. It's up in the air and Johnson's just managed to grab it out of the air for a second. It looked like West Ham might be able to force it over the line, but Johnson comes and grabs it out of the air for Palace. Now, we've just seen Knife Agurd go to ground. I'm not sure if he's winded, if he's taken a bit of a knock on the hip there. Let's have a look. Like someone was trying to pull his shorts down there, but he's actually, I think it's just a nasty fall. He's gone up in the air and yeah, he's kind of fallen on his side on this region, which is kind of painful. The kidneys and the lungs, that tends to wind you something like that. But unfortunately for West Ham, it's come at a really inopportune moment because time and seconds are ticking away. We've now got just 2 of those 6 minutes left for West Ham to try and force an equaliser. Palace are going to waste even more of that time by making another change. And yeah, it's Doucouré being replaced by Milivojevic. Couldn't get that one out. What's happened to James Tompkins, by the way, Ria?
I just think he's fallen out of favour. I haven't heard anything about an injury. I might be wrong, but yeah, he looks like. I mean, he's actually surprisingly older than everyone actually thinks as well. So that doesn't help his case. But I just think he's fallen out of favour at Palace.
Yeah, yeah, you kind of think of him as being 21 still, don't you? And the player that sort of emerged from the academy, but I don't know how old he is now. But he must be getting on for 30 if he's not 30, I suppose, Tompkins. Anyway, players resumed. Just under 90 seconds of time left. Can West Ham somehow force an equaliser? It's beginning to look less and less likely as every second pass. Johnson pumps the ball deep into West Ham's half. The header is won by Knife Agurd, who's got back to his feet and won a free kick. Now, come on, Declan, we need to take this fairly quickly if we're going to take it. And that's a bit unsporting. The Palace at number 22, one of the substitutes, Edouard, just kicks the ball away, and it's going to waste about another 5 or 6 seconds as the Hammers go to retrieve it. It's going to be taken by Fabianski. We're now down to about 45 seconds. A long ball pumped down the centre by Fabianski. Come on, West Ham. Can we force a goal? Headed clear, but only as far as Knife Agurd. Plays it out on the left to Cresswell, who can't keep the ball in play, and it's gone over the line. That's going to be a Palace throw. And I suspect, given that they took 30 seconds to take the last throw, that might be the last action we see of the game. 95 minutes, 35 seconds on the clock. We've already seen 10 seconds wasted by Palace, the Palace player who's taken this throw in. Oh, he's taken it. Okay, ball in play. 19 seconds left. Agurd hooks it back into the mix. And again, wins a header, but Palace still managing to keep it out. And time is very, very nearly up now. West Ham have a throw-in. We're down to, and that's it. That's the 96 minutes up. Pretty much going over for West Ham unless they can pump this into the box and perhaps do something with it. Cresswell closed down as he tries to do just that, but Benrahma could win this. He can't. It's all very bitty, but West Ham just can't get a foot on the ball, and they might be able to now. Who's he going to fall to? Benrahma with the ball. Can he get into the box? Souček's the ball taken off him, and that'll be it. Benrahma did have a brief chance there, but Palace have broken away, and we're just waiting for the final whistle to blow now. 96 minutes, 30 seconds on the clock. Pawson still not going to his whistle straight away. He's obviously not got the buzz on his wrist just yet, which means time will continue. Ball launched forward by Fabianski, but only as far as a Palace player. Cresswell with the ball, works it short to Ogbonna. We're now almost 7 minutes played. Long ball put forward by Ogbonna, but it's easily dealt with by Palace. Still playing time. Went up to 97 minutes now, but that's pretty much going to be it. Vladimir Coufal wins the throw-in for West Ham. He's going to take it quickly, thrown down the line, looking for not Mickey Antonio, Maxwell Cornet, should I say. Cornet with the ball up against 2 Palace players, manages to turn it inside. Bowen almost got through to the penalty box, but just had the ball taken off his foot at the last moment there. And yet again, Edouard kicks the ball away, and Agurd actually has a little flick at him and has a little kick at him. And yeah, pretty unnecessarily. Now, what's happened here? What's Paulson doing? Right, Paulson stopped the game to have a word with both of them. It's a bit unnecessary. But Agurd's got to be careful. He did actually, he just kicked the Palace player there in the calf. Are you watching this, Rio? Have you got your stream back?
No, my stream's not come back. I'm more shocked. I found out that James Tompkins is 34.
34, is he really? Goodness gracious. Well, no wonder he's not playing him, I guess. I really wouldn't have thought he was that old, but I suppose, I thought he'd come through 10, 11, 12, Stanislas, that area, wasn't it? That's 13 years ago, maybe it could be right. Anyway, we've now played 98 minutes because of Pawson's faffing around. West Ham are now going to finally take the throw. No, they're not, because Pawson's making him walk back an extra 3 yards. Well done, referee. well done. That's really necessary, isn't it? But 98 minutes and 15 seconds. A long ball forward, looking for Cornet. Not cleared by Palace. That's still playing on. I've no idea why Paulson's still playing. I don't know if his watch isn't working or something, but Palace hook it clear again. But West Ham can still put one back into the box. 98 minutes and 40 seconds, and still they play on. Cresswell with the ball out wide to Ben Rama. Come on, Benny, sling it in the box, cuts inside. Chance to cross it. Oh, it's a terrible, terrible cross from Ben Rama. He's just put it out of play. Oh, and that's game over, and that is it. That's the final whistle. Was a chance, but game over. 98 minutes, 53 seconds. The final whistle finally blows. West Ham are beaten. It's back-to-back defeats for West Ham in the Premier League. Crystal Palace have just managed to see it through. 4-3. Souček scoring for West Ham after 9 minutes. AU equalising for Palace 6 minutes later. Zaha putting Palace ahead on 20 minutes. It was 3-1 on 30 minutes when Souček conceded possession and Schlupp just walked through and passed the ball between Fabianski's legs. Mickey Antonio making it 3-2 9 minutes before half-time. That's how it stayed at the interval. No goals until the 66th minute when VAR failed to overturn a terrible decision by Craig Paulson to award Palace a penalty when Eze dived in the penalty box. Stepped up to put the ball in the back of the net, and it was 4-2 Agurd. On the score sheet for West Ham, the Hammers scoring from a third set piece on the 73rd minute to give themselves a glimmer of hope of coming back and taking something from this game, but it wasn't to be. West Ham not at the races once again, and a 7-goal. It might be deemed a 7-goal thriller by Match of the Day, but Rio, I'm guessing you weren't thrilled at any point of this game this afternoon, in truth.
Yeah. For a game that contains 7 goals in supposedly the best league in the world, that was absolutely garbage. That was an awful game of football. If you can name me more than 5 moments of absolute quality by any member of either side, I'd say you're overestimating. Because as we went through, there's some wonderful players out there. There's a Brazilian international, Lucas Paquetá. There's one of England's prime midfielders in Declan Rice. Eze for Palace is a great footballer. All we saw today was a catalogue of defensive ineptitude, woeful tactics, woeful defending. It's an archetypal end of season game where both teams really had nothing to play for, and it showed. But the fact of the matter is, we have still got something to play for. It was just a woeful game of football.
Yeah.
I've seen 0-0 draws that have been far, far, far greater quality than that. It's just an awful, awful game. And yep, that for me is one of the final nails in the coffin of David Moyes' era. I just can't excuse the way that we performed today. You can look at various factors like the officials. You can look at maybe the delayed start disrupted our rhythm a little bit, but we're off in nothing. We have no way of changing games. We have no way of adapting. And what could we do today? We threw Danny Ings on for a 4-4-2, which I guarantee I don't utilise in training. We certainly don't utilise it at starting games. We're just throwing square pegs at round holes at every single time when it comes to trying to adapt to games and trying to counter what the opposition do, and it just doesn't work. And I kind of mentioned it earlier on, but our brief little resurgence over the last couple of weeks has been as much to do with the opposition deficiencies rather than what we can actually kind of muster. And yeah, I think as a club we're treading water. The owners know that they're on the final legs of their tenure. The manager knows that he's the final legs of his tenure, and the players just don't know what to do, where to look for inspiration. And yeah, it's making a mockery of our football club at times. Now, we have still got the European kind of competition left to clutch at straws, but the rest of this season just petering out into nothingness.
Yeah, indeed it is. Indeed it is. We're gonna wrap it up there, actually, Rio, because lots to do, of course, for the rest of the day. But just before we go, man of the match for you, West Ham.
See, the natural thing would be get Thomas Souček because he took his goal really well, a couple of assists. But I'm actually going to give it to Mikel Antonio, who, he played a very long furrow up front, very little reward, but at least he worked hard, and he worked hard most of the game. His teammates offered nothing for him, and at least he kind of managed a little bit of effort, a little bit of muster. He tried his best, and that's more than I can say for a lot of the players out there.
Okay, good stuff. I'd go for Souček. I think personally, I think a goal and an assist, or potentially 2 goals and an assist. We'll have to see what happens there. You can't ask for much more than that, really. Although, of course, he was responsible for the conceded goal. Now, we're just seeing a replay of the penalty. Just before we go, we've just seen the first view of the penalty incident from the other side. I can confirm absolutely that Aguerd does not grab Etse's shirt. He brushes it across like that, or like that, but he doesn't grab it at all. There's no contact for the penalty, so it's a blank dive. Why Paulson's given it, I don't know, and why VAR haven't overruled it, I don't know. But yet again, here we are left to the vagaries of the officials in charge, and they've made a complete hash of that, I'm afraid, today, which I'm sure is what they're talking about on BT Sports. I don't know, I've got the sound down, so I can't tell. But anyway, we are going to leave it there today. Sorry, I'm going to have to apologise to Noam because I've just seen his name pop up on the stream to say he wanted to come in, but we're going to have to jump off, mate, I'm afraid. Have yourself a safe journey home from Selhurst Park. Not too far for you, of course. You haven't got to go so far, but it has finished at Selhurst Park this afternoon. Crystal Palace 4, West Ham United 3. The Hammers did lead after 9 minutes, but conceded 4 of the next 6 goals, and you just can't defend like that, I'm afraid, in the Premier League if you're going to win matches. Puts the pressure back on the Hammers, still a few points away from that relegation zone, but back-to-back defeats not ideal at this time of the season, and we'd have certainly been hoping for a little bit more. But anyway, there you go. Get yourselves on over to the KUMB.com forum. Match thread, discuss the penalty. Why not? It certainly didn't look like one, did it, to me? I don't know about you guys, but let us know what you thought about it. Thank you to everyone joining us on the live stream for your company this afternoon. As always, we love to read your comments. PGMOL needs external auditing, says Tony Mitchell in one of our final comments of the afternoon. I'm sure Noam, who was trying to get on, would agree with you on that 100%. But that's it. We'll be back next week. Man City versus West Ham. Another easy one coming up for the Hammers, of course. And hopefully, hopefully it won't be too bad. I mean, we're expecting the worst, let's be honest, from that one, but you never know. This is West Ham after all. Anyway, take care of yourself, my friends. Look after yourselves. Be good. Enjoy the rest of your bank holiday weekend. Have a good one. You've got an extra day off, of course, on Monday. Make the most of it. We'll see you all again very soon, and until then, come on, you Irons.